Ready? Everybody ready? Okay. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the City of Sweetwater Regular Commission meeting. Meeting date Monday, August 1st, 2016 at 8 p.m. Commission Chambers, 500 Southwest 109 Avenue. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Proper note, all members present.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us have a prayer.
Our celestial Father and good God, we thank you, Lord, for your blessings and your care and your protection. We wanted to thank you for our beautiful city of Sweetwater, for its residents. And Lord, we thank you for having the honor to serve this community. Tonight we ask you to guide us and bless everything that we do here to improve our community and to keep it safe. We thank you for the life of those that sacrifice their families and their own lives to defend our liberty abroad as well as in our country. Thank you for our police forces. Protect them, our Lord. Protect them from evil and from those that perpetrate evil against them. Now we want you to stay here and guide us all the way through the meeting. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
El señor Díaz, la esposa de Ana, Juanito, tuvo un accidente muy malo y está en el hospital.
El esposo.
El esposo, perdón. Y está en el
Well,
hospital.
We ask our prayers and thoughts for Ana, Juanito, that are active members of our community. We ask you, Lord, to bless him and bring him to safety and heal him, oh Lord, from all his fractures and illness. In your holy name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, any special presentations? Nothing? Presentation of Employee of the Month.
I would like to defer this till next month.
Okay. Okay, presentation of Officer of the Month award.
The officer is not in town, he's on vacation, so I'm going to defer it till next month as well.
Reports, officers, boards, and committees. None right now. Additions and deletions. We have an addition of item O and item P.
And I would like to,
Staff items.
and I would like to delete E and H. And if we could, that Eric Gomez needs to leave as early as possible. He's speaking on item B, so if we could move item I and M after B, as in boy, on staff items.
I and M
Right, after B.
after B. I got so many notes on this thing. Item I and M after
So which one you deleted?
B. Deleted is E and H.
H.
E and H?
Yes, and we added O and P.
And we moved I and M.
Okay, I have a motion. Who seconds it?
Move.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 9, petitions, communications, and remonstrances. I have Cecilia Holtz Alonso. Like to speak?
Yeah, but it should have been after A, the
Yes.
resolution.
After A?
Yeah,
Okay.
after A, the resolution of the city
Okay.
determination.
David Epstein, MD? Yes, sir. Can you just give your name and address for the record in
Bertie.
3 minutes?
Está aquí Rosie Aponte.
David Epstein,
Rosie Aponte, is she here? Because she's actually on
The
it.
agenda is Ms. Rosa Aponte.
And she should be first.
Hold on.
One second, sir. I
And
misspoke.
the agenda.
I have to go by the agenda
Yes.
first. A request of judicial candidate Rosie Aponte to speak before the city commission and her candidacy. Is she here? Nope. I guess it's up to you, doctor.
You go, back.
okay. Dr. David Epstein, addresses 333 Las Olas Way, Fort Lauderdale. And I'm on staff at Memorial Hospital, just up the street a little bit. And I'm proud to be here. My daughter is starting her first day of school today. And the school is the Wertheim School of Medicine, across the street. My wife and daughter had did a lot more research on the question that we're posing, and I'm sort of replacing it because my daughter already has some homework. But the issue is that she is expecting to start living, I guess, at the 4th Street Commons. And having observed a fair amount the issues with the traffic and the pedestrian safety, it became very clear to my daughter and my wife that crossing Tamiami Trail is a exercise that could make you a customer, not a student at the school. And I understand from what she told me that there is currently plans to put a pedestrian bridge over the Tamiami Trail. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sometime in the next 2 years. But 2 years is a long time. I happen to notice on the bridge, the 109th Street Bridge, Avenue Bridge, there's a couple pictures of people. And I'm guessing they're not alive anymore?
Yes, but they're from the Brothers to the Rescue. They were shot down by
Oh, okay.
communists. It's a different story.
Okay, that's better. And my wife thought maybe they were, if you go around the state, you see those little signs, and that's
No.
usually where a traffic casualty, okay, so, better. The question that I'm here to present for them is that whether it is possible in the intervening 2 years to do something simpler that could be done much more rapidly in terms of increasing the signage at the, I guess if the 109 is the main crossing, something to notify the motorists that is a crosswalk. I'm sure that most people know that, but you can drive across an intersection 300 times a month and still hit a pedestrian on the 301st. So I know in Fort Lauderdale they have a number of intersections, especially in the more touristy areas, where the crosswalks actually have the flashing lights embedded in the streets. They have the signs that light up. It's almost like the swap shop. It's
Yes.
pretty impressive. Many things that I think could be done for a much lower cost than the bridge in a much shorter time, not instead of the bridge, but pending the construction of the bridge, because that's a while for 2 years.
Yes, well, we have addressed that. The mayor and the commission have addressed that about 6 months ago, I think, when the transportation board all met and we were trying to get some of the funds from their Tiger grant.
Oh, you want me to run with it? You want me to
Go
run
ahead,
with
go
it?
ahead.
The crossing there is all controlled by Florida Department of Transportation. Southwest 8th Street is a state road. We've met with DOTs on several times to try to increase the amount of time to allow pedestrians to cross over. They have resisted as much as possible. They are not going to increase the pedestrian traffic across 8th Street. Their priority is to move traffic off Southwest 8th Street over pedestrian traffic. We've tried to increase the amount of time for pedestrians to cross. We've been in negotiations with them over and over and over and over. The only solution really has always come, which is the pedestrian bridge. I know it's going to take a long time because construction is slated to start December of this year, and it's slated for 1.5 years in total. But we're in constant communications with them to try to increase the amount of time that they'll allow the pedestrians to cross, but it's really difficult because they try to give the most amount of time for the light it changes for the traffic on Southwest 8th Street.
Okay, I can see the conflict.
If I can, I think the best suggestion, if somebody's worried especially about that, because I see it all the time, people texting and trying to walk across 8th Street. So the best thing to do, I think, would get some of the new transportation they have. The CAT, the FIU has a bus that goes, the city has a trolley.
Right.
Wait for it at the appropriate stop, and it takes a little more time, but at least you can
Yeah.
safely go across in a trolley or one of the small transports.
If there were any increased signage or illumination of the signs at that location, would that also be the state DOT?
It's DOT.
Okay.
It's a state road. But now, one of the best things that the students can do as well is complain to try to get increased amount of time to cross Southwest 8th Street. They're not going to listen they're going to take more into consideration the residents than us in government.
Okay. Know the name of anybody at DOT? I'll be happy to call them. I'll have my daughter call 'em.
I'll tell you off the
Oh, yes,
record. I'll tell you off the record.
Okay. Okay. Very good. All right, I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you
And
for
I'll,
coming in.
I'll report back, and my wife will be very happy to know that the pictures were not local
No,
casualty.
no, 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 no.
No.
Nothing to do with that.
Thank you, sir. Jose A. Cuenca? Perdón.
Good evening, staff, Commissioner, Mayors. I'm a resident of the city of Sweetwater, and I've recently noticed that there's going to be an increase in the trash. There was an increase the year before. Could someone explain to me why the increase and how you calculate the increase of the trash that's going to happen?
Mayor, you got anything on that?
You're talking about the residential increase?
Yes, sir.
The residential increase is mirroring what the residents pay in the county.
Could you tell me why? Why would we mirror the county?
Right now, we're in a contract with Waste Pro, which is a privatized collection service. There have been several complaints from residents as well as some of the commissioners with the possibility of reverting back to the county. If we revert back to the county within the next couple of months, it's the same rate that the county is going to be paying. You're not paying more, you're paying the same thing as county services.
I'm sorry, I'm paying more. $375 was what I used to pay. Now I'm going to be paying $439. The year before was $310. It seems like there's a pattern of increase every year.
No, there's not a pattern increase.
I can
It
show
always
you.
used to be the 400 and change, which is the county rate. Then what happened was that once we privatized, what we had promised the residents that the first year we were going to split the difference between what it cost to privatize the trash versus county services. We didn't do it. It was brought to our attention by then not Commissioner Suarez, actually resident, and Eduardo Suarez. And what we did is that for 1 year, we went back and credited actually what we weren't charged. So we lost money that year. Then we went back to the rate that we were paying, and now it's going back to the county rate.
So it's
No,
just,
if I could, we didn't lose money.
Yeah, the 310, we lost money. Because we were paying about 360.
We lowered the rate. So
Correct.
they didn't have to pay it.
At
It's
the
not
three-
like we took money out of our pocket and paid it.
That
They just
year we
paid
did.
less.
That year we did.
Through the
I
chair.
don't remember a refund.
Are we talking about the stormwater?
No, the curbside collection.
Okay.
Mayor, could you tell me when this went into effect and this agreement about reducing and then increasing? Could you, what did that go into effect? Is there any?
What was it that you
any-
brought to our attention, Suarez?
That was about
About 3 years ago?
ago.
About 3 years ago
Yeah.
was when Suarez brought it to our attention that the city had promised a reduction. Because what we did is that verbally, the commission, when it passed the privatizing of the garbage, they promised verbally here on the dais that the first year, the difference between the cost to privatize and the county rate was going to be split with the residents. So the residents were going to see a reduction in price 1 year. And then afterwards, it would go back to the county rate. We didn't do it. We charged the county rate for the first couple of years when Suarez brought it to our attention. We credited those 2 years that 1 year. So we actually lost money that 1 year.
Okay, you're saying the county rate. Now, the Waste Pro is a private company,
Correct.
right? Okay. And they accept the county rate.
No, they're less than the county rate.
They're less than the county rate.
Correct.
How much is Waste Pro?
365, something to that effect.
I think it was $67 less than the
$67
county
difference in the
rate.
county. It's a difference,
67, yeah.
$67. So if the county was $439, $67 less, so about $460.
So you're saying the total that Waste Pro charges is $460?
Excuse me?
So you're saying is it $365?
Something in that area,
So Waste Pro charges less than
in the county,
the county?
correct.
So so the number that you're referring to is the one on the new budget?
Yes.
That's what you're saying it's
Correct.
raising?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Right, okay, but that budget's not finalized. That's one of the issues that we have.
Okay.
But we might be looking at changing trash because people aren't happy with the service. But it comes at a cost. That's the problem.
Yeah, if we go back to the county service, it's going back to the $439.
So essentially what you're saying is that Waste Pro charges less than what the county charges, but we're getting better service. Is that what I'm understanding? I just want to understand.
We are getting good service. Lately, there's been a lot of residents have been complaining, as well as several commissioners have been complaining about the service we're getting from Waste Pro. So if we sever the contract with Waste Pro and we go back to county services, it goes back to that rate.
But not only that, they don't pick up, they weren't
They don't
picking
pick
up
up,
the bulk waste.
the county
We
doesn't
were-
pick up the
We were
bulk.
picking up the bulk waste here before, with our employees and our.
Okay. So what I'm understanding is that, again, the county charges more than Waste Pro.
correct,
Right.
correct.
Initially, it was a great substantial savings.
Okay.
I think the total was 140 a year that we were saving. And then it turned into, they had charged that year the money already. So we gave back whatever it was, the $67. Well, we didn't give it back. We took it off what you were gonna pay the year before. The next year, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. And again, we're doing this because it's better service
Well,
for
we
the
still
county.
have to analyze it. That's part of the issues that we have in our budget, that we're
Okay.
analyzing a lot of things that sometimes seem like they're a good deal or not, or maybe we can work something out with Waste Pro to meet our needs.
Okay. So it's
Or
not,
another company, it doesn't.
so it's not finalized that
This is
we're
not
gonna go to the
finalized
county?
till the end of September.
Okay. Okay. I was just concerned.
No, absolutely,
with the
and
increase.
rightly so, and you can meet with any commissioner, the mayor, their staff, anybody, and if you got suggestions, ideas, we're open. That's what we need, people to come and give us ideas.
I have lots of ideas. I do have more questions for you.
Go ahead.
Regarding and maybe I have the old proposed budget, fiscal year 2015, 2016. There's on page 19 and 17, there's a line item 42 with account number 539949, miscellaneous expenses. Can someone tell me what the miscellaneous expenses is?
I don't have that
Not at this
but what is it
time.
again? Under what department or what?
It's on page 19. Operating expenses.
Does it say what department or just general operating expense?
It looks general. I don't see a department name. I could give this to you so you can look.
Yes, sir. What line is it here? Oh, miscellaneous membership or expenses?
Both of these, and then on the other side, there's a larger, with the same name.
Oh, this is the mayor's office. Miscellaneous expenses, $13,000. I don't know exactly what that is. You can ask the finance director or the mayor. Then we have in the clerk's office a miscellaneous membership, which is $5,630, $5,630. And sometimes what happens is with the memberships are like they're like the League of Cities or the Florida League of Cities or the Miami-Dade League of Cities. And some of those memberships you have to pay the fee to be in it, but they're not a willy-nilly membership to a club or anything. They provide sometimes like some of our insurance and other things at a cheaper rate than we can get. That's why we have those memberships, if that's it. The miscellaneous expenses of $724, I really don't know. The finance director is right there, or you can,
If you give your email, I'll be happy to send you a complete detail tomorrow based on the fiscal year budget that you're talking about. Okay?
Okay. And I noticed, another concern I have, I noticed several cases online that are public records regarding the city of Sweetwater. And, thank you. And I noticed, I don't know which budget I was looking at, maybe it's the new one. And there's a description, states pending litigation budget. I don't know if you're able to comment about what's going on with the lawsuits with the bank and.
which is it?
On the budget, I think it's a new budget. There,
Which one? Because we've had
oh, you've had,
quite a few different.
okay.
Yeah, if it's pending litigation, it's the current litigation right now between the administrative side of the mayor and the commission and the mayor. And that's right now being budgeted for budget 16-17, so that question is referring to 16-17. And then, I don't know if we took account into that, I don't recall right now, the possibility of the appeal, because the commission decided to appeal the case, so was that taken into account, Ricardo, or? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm concerned with the amount of cases I've seen online regarding the city of Sweetwater. Moving forward, are there any new checks and controls? I guess I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, or is there maybe a new committee overseeing what's going on? Because I'm really concerned about some of the decisions that are being made regarding cases like that. They really concern me. I don't know if you know what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
Well, part of the big issue that we have is that you gotta understand when it comes to a case, there's civil issues, and what happens is, like, for example, when the mayor vetoes an item or a resolution, and that's what kind of happened in this issue, and the mayor says that he will not change his mind on something that we think that we have a right to do here, as in amending the budget, that type of thing. So what has happened is that in his veto message, he says, I won't change my mind unless you take me to court. And that's the only thing we actually can do. He's the administrator of the city, he's the one that runs everything. We can't make deals with the bank, with anybody. No matter what anybody thinks or they hears out there, the commission doesn't do that. That's upon the administration. So if we want anything that he refuses to do or not do or whatever, or vice versa, then court is the way that it's usually done, instead of the president doesn't want to change. And that's what kind of happened in this.
So is that the
Let me
situation
clarify
with
something
the
that
bank?
the Commission
No,
President...
that was with the budget. That's the whole.
With the budget?
Yes, sir.
Let me clarify something that the Commission President actually said. It had nothing to do with resolutions or anything. It was, where I stood my ground was that the Commission was trying to pass a budget that was unbalanced by $2 million. And I said, unless ordered by a court to follow this budget that's unbalanced, I would not do so. Had nothing to do with resolutions or anything, because the resolutions that are talking about vetoing, that I vetoed, they actually rescinded prior to going to court because they knew they were unlawful resolutions that they had overturned. So obviously there's a huge discrepancy
No,
in
but
what...
You see, that's kind of the issue that we get into.
Correct.
It wasn't that we rescinded them because they were unlawful. We rescinded them because they were moot. There were motions that we had made, for example, of let's have a hiring freeze, or let's have a suspension of layoffs, that type of thing. And it had a date certain, which was like, let's say October of 15. So those issues came upon. Yes, sir.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. President. I just want to go ahead and perhaps add to the response in a general way. Relative to the question you asked, sir, the city, just like any enterprise, a company, for example, that is engaged in certain activities that impact or touch many people, companies, or interacts or transacts with, many times litigation will come out of those activities and transactions. There is really no way in which anyone can control whether or not somebody's going to file a lawsuit against the city, or it can happen in a multitude of ways. Ultimately, I think that you find that municipal and county governments encounter quite a bit of litigation simply because of the amount of activity, transactions, and endeavors that they carry out. So I just wanted to kind of add that in general terms to the discussion.
And I understand that what worries me is, and I didn't read over the whole case regarding the bank, but my concern is using public funds for a purpose and then doing something different. And maybe I read it wrong, and maybe someone can clarify that for me. But that really concerns me when there's public funds involved, in other words, funds from the residents of the city, and something different happens. That concern, and again, maybe I read it wrong.
But what do you mean by something different happens? I don't understand.
From what I read in the court case with the bank, it's a $2 million is it a $2 million lawsuit, or is it $2 million owed to the bank for the purposes
there's
of?
approximately $1.6 million owned in a credit line.
Okay.
And what happened was that the city had put up the property against it. Now, the bank doesn't take the property. What they do is they have I think they call it a writ of mandamus. I'm not a lawyer. And what happens is that if we don't pay it, then they take that money from our operating funds. And that's why we're probably putting it in the budget for this year. But the property is probably gonna be sold, hopefully. We have a contract with it, but it's going to referendum. So if everybody votes for that, the property will be sold. It's $2.8 million. We pay approximately $1.6 million of our credit line. That's what we're paying the bank. And we're paying approximately $600,000 to the, what we owe on the, I believe, excuse me? On the property. And, that'll ballpark, it leaves us with $400,000 or $500,000 that goes to our operating, budget. So the whole idea with that was just a technicality of, if we could put it up in the budget for sale, like we did with other property. We did it with another lot that we made $180,000
150.
or $150. So it's a lot of technicalities, but it's basically the judge ruled that, that I guess, I don't know the exact words, but that we weren't allowed to put that property up against it. But one of my major concerns having to do with the litigation is not necessarily, I can live with the fact that they're saying that the budget, was not correct in putting that towards it, but you have to understand the situation that we were in at the time. It's a very long story, and if you want, I can, you can meet me, whatever. But at the end of the day is, the day of the actual final meeting is when they brought up, they wanted to introduce $1.7 million into the budget when we had cut $850,000, and we were in black, $850,000. On the last day, the finance department drops a sheet saying that we're going to put this in the budget, so we had to come up with that kind of money. That's what happens. But my problem is in the way that the judge actually, in the order that she gave, I don't know the technical words, so it might not come out the right way, but basically she's saying that we don't have a right to do anything in a line item fashion as far as to do with salaries or employees. Because I think she got it wrong. I think we don't have a right by the charter to hire and fire anybody in the city. And that's the mayor's job. And we said it 100 times while we were doing the budget. We, as a matter of fact, posted, and I made them put in the budget position numbers for each position of the employee. He can put whoever he wants in those positions. That's not up to us. But what we were doing was that for example, if we have 5 welders and the city doesn't want to go in that direction, the commission doesn't feel that we need that many welders because we're going to farm it out or we're going to do something else. That's our vision of what we want to do with the city. We don't need welders. Let's say we don't need that many welders. Then we'll say from position 1 through 4, we're not funding it. We're not going to give money because that's our job. We're not going to give money to fund it. Just like a car. We say, look, we have a $50 car and we're spending $10,000 a year on that car to fix it. So we don't want to fund that car anymore. That's what we do. And the judge, I think, made a mistake because she got it all on a big ball and just said, you were wrong and you were wrong on all counts. But I think all the way to Congress, they pick a line item and they say this is funding or not funding. It has nothing to do with hiring or firing. He can put whoever he wants. But that's why we're appealing.
Now getting back to the reason that we have to come up with 1.6 million is because we weren't supposed to.
There's a credit line
right.
that we have that we haven't paid off.
Is it due? Is that what it is, or is it something different?
It's due. What we did is we made a deal with the bank, telling them that by November we don't sell the property, that then they can take it from our operating funds. Long story short. So I believe that the property will be sold and we'll get it. And if not, we're putting it in the budget to take care of that.
Okay. I'll get back to you on that one. So I have more questions about it.
Sure.
Something came up today and I wasn't ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, Rosie Aponte is here. Number A on the
Okay,
applications.
from item A, judicial candidate Rosie Aponte to speak before the city commission on her candidacy. Hello. Welcome.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you for having me here. I apologize for being late, but today was the Gwyneth Cherry Women's Black Women's Judicial Forum in North Dayton. That's where I'm coming from. Hi to everybody. I'm running for Circuit Court Judge, Group 52, number 86. In that group, it's a retired judge. Judge Michael Jendon is retiring, so it's an open spot. There's 3 attorneys running for that, and I'm one of them. I live in the community, kind of. I don't live in Sweetwater, but I live in Waterway Neighborhood, and sometimes when I had a break in, the Sweetwater police are the ones that come over, so we're kind of connected, but I don't exactly live in the city. But I consider myself living in the community. So I wanted to introduce myself. I was a former school teacher. I put myself through law school at night as I taught kindergarten for the Miami-Dade School District. I'm in the daytime. And I put myself through my bachelorette, working as a secretary full-time. So I've had to work full-time all my life. I've been working since I was 13. I grew up in Miami. I'm a product of Miami Public Schools. I graduated from Miami Senior High. Then I went to Miami-Dade, and then I went to Barry. So I grew up here. I'm from the community. I understand the people who live in this community. I feel part of the community. And I ask that you vote for me on August 30th. Aponte. I've been told to say it in Spanish. Is that correct? I have
Yes,
to
ma'am.
say. Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Rosy Aponte. Yo me crié aquí en esta comunidad. Estoy apostulada para juez del grupo 52. Soy número 86 en el ballot. Estoy aquí, vivo en esta comunidad. Le estoy pidiendo que por favor voten por mí agosto 30, el número 86 para juez. Me crié aquí, soy un producto de los colegios públicos de Miami. Soy de esta comunidad y me siento parte de esta comunidad. Quiero seguir sirviendo a mi comunidad. He siempre trabajado defendiendo los derechos civiles. I forgot to say that in English. I dedicated my career to civil rights. I do discrimination cases for females, race, national, gender, religion. That's what I've dedicated myself to, and I've also dedicated myself to foreclosure defense. Me dediqué mi carrera a ser abogada de derechos civiles y también ayudé a muchas de las personas cuando tuvimos el foreclosure, la hipoteca, el problema. Ayudé a mucha gente a modificar y quedarse en su casa y salvar sus hogares. So, por favor, le digo que por favor aponte, número 86, agosto 30. Muchas gracias. Buenas noches. Thank you for having me. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night.
Okay, and Claudia Miró, Mayor's Office. Claudia?
Commissioner, Claudia went downstairs for a moment, but what she was simply going to do is do a short presentation on the videos or video promos that she would like to do with each of the commissioners in order to run it on the TV channel to ensure the sale of the land or to assist in the process of selling the land. So maybe if you want to hold 2 or 3 minutes until she gets back, or if not, if you think that what I've just said is sufficient, then she'll be reaching out to you to go ahead and schedule the videos.
Send us an email and we'll schedule something like that.
Okay, that's fine. That's what you want to speak to.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Okay, and that's it. All right, item 10, consent agenda, we have nothing. Okay, we go to staff items. Item A, a resolution of the City of Sweetwater determining the proposed millage rate for 2016, the rollback rate, and the date, time, and place for public hearing, as required by law, directing the city clerk to file said resolution with the Miami-Dade County Department of Property Appraisal pursuant to the requirements of Florida statutes and the rules and regulations of the Department of Revenue of the state of Florida, providing for transmittal and an effective date. This is a trim requirement. I guess we'll start out. Any of the commissioners have any things? Because I have a couple of issues that I'd like to talk about.
Are we going to start based on the budget that was presented to us?
Yes, this is just basically, I want to open for discussion before anybody makes any motions for an actual millage rate.
I have a question.
Tentative millage rate.
We're gonna be talking to the budget, that is gonna be 8.1 or the one that was sent to us today, 6.1?
What do you mean 1 cent today?
Didn't you send one today?
I did not send one today.
No? Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
So
the
you
budget
did.
that was presented to you is the budget that was
The
sent.
8.2667.
8.2.
8.267, so that's the ones that are gonna be discussed tonight.
That,
I don't want to get
what's
confused.
being discussed tonight, to my understanding, is the millage rate, is that correct?
The millage rate,
The
yeah.
millage cap.
Okay, the cap.
Exactly. So, to my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. City Attorney, but the way the process works is that that you have received a proposed budget. And as I discussed this with each of you in the past, in the last several weeks, the budget is essentially what it will cost to run the city with full services and to pay the region's line of credit of $1.6 million, assuming that the referendum fails. Because of that, the millage cap has been set at the number that's been set at. Now, after August 30, when we know the results of the referendum, assuming no other changes, if the referendum is yes, then you can deduct $2 million off the budget, approximately, a little bit less actually, approximately $2 million, and reduce the millage accordingly. You will have an opportunity to reduce the millage in September when you set the final millage. You will not have an opportunity again after tonight, to set a millage cap at a sufficiently high figure to enable the commission to adequately fund the city services.
Mr. President,
Okay. Ms. Moreno?
the budget that you present to us, 16, 17, I wanted to be sure, is just in case that we are not going to sell the land? It's based on that?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, please correct me if I'm wrong. Did you want to take this?
Yeah,
No, that's included.
there's a couple of things that this budget takes into account, setting the millage rate at 8.2. This is assuming that the referendum does not pass. This is assuming, there was a resolution on here that we pulled because we're still working on it. We put it on in haste, which is to finance forward over the next 7 years the debt that we have with the PBA. So assuming this is not resolved, that it should be resolved within the next couple of weeks, because rather than having $1 million debt, a $960,000 debt, if we finance it over 7 years, it's about $150,000. So then that goes down again, because we were budgeting $350,000 over the next 3 years rather than that. It's several debts. There's a stormwater debt as well that we're trying to factor so we can finance it over the next couple of years. So we're in the process over the next couple of months to be able to punt the ball down on some of the debt over the next couple of years. If everything is done and the sale of the property goes through. This is basically assuming that this is a worst-case scenario.
That's the worst.
Right. If the sale of the property goes on, the sale yields $2.8 million, which alleviates a $650,000 debt that we have with the bond, a $1.6 million debt that we have with Regions, and it actually produces close to $400,000 in surplus that actually comes into general funds, so reduces some of the debt structure. Then we have to negotiate the debt with the police pension, the past due obligations. We're still negotiating with the workman's comp. There's a couple of things that are still negotiating, but this is taking into account that everything has to be paid in the next calendar year, next fiscal year, sorry.
Do you think it's pretty high, 8.2, including all that?
That will be sufficient money to cover everything and leave $500,000 in reserves.
How about the salaries?
Putting back every single employee back on in the city.
There will be some increase on salary?
Only what's contractual.
Oh, I don't have those numbers either.
Yeah, the contractual is just
I think it's 2.5.
I think it's
for the civilian
2.5
union.
or,
For the civilian union.
on the civilian side.
Anybody else?
To the chair, Mayor,
Go ahead.
yeah, okay. You said that with the millage rate of 8.2667, we will have, with the sale of the land, a surplus of about 4 million?
No, $500,000. Well, no.
No, it says here
With the-
2,500,000.
But you're talking about the sale of the land or with the budget, with the trim?
I'm talking about the trim that you are proposing, almost 8.3,
Right.
and including that the land is sold.
No, this doesn't take into consideration the land being sold. This is a what-if, worst-case scenario.
An $8.2 million.
And this is us paying off the land next year.
An 8 mil trim and the land being sold would yield approximately $2.5 million
In savings.
Yeah, that's the figure here
Right,
on the last
exactly.
column.
So
bottom,
the
yeah.
idea is that I just spoke with Brett Houston Thursday or Wednesday, I believe. They're ready to close. He's liquid. He's got the funds to close. And all they need is the referendum go through. They have retained a company to handle the advertising, and we are going to cooperate in that, which was essentially the videos that we were talking about and some other things as well. If it sells, then there will be opportunity to reduce the budget by $2 million and lower the millage accordingly at that point. However, as I'd said to I believe almost all of you, this is really a budget and a millage for discussion purposes. It just sets your high mark. This is, on worst case scenario, this is what it's going to be. There will be opportunities in the next month to 6 weeks to
After
lower
August
that.
30th.
And also after August 30th as well, if the referendum goes through and it's positive for the city, there will be ample opportunity to lower those. The time frame is essentially that you would have August 30 would be the referendum. If it's yes and it's certified that night, then the day after Labor Day you can go ahead and close. The city is funded, the property is taken care of, and that's still 10 days before the final millage is set. 15, 14 days before the final millage. There is ample time to deal with in September.
Mr.
You
President?
done, Mr. Suarez?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Done?
Okay. Based on what I got on the budget 2015-16, there's no support documents. I was, 16-17, I'm sorry, we keep on saying 16-17, I don't have any support documents on it to be able to see, actually to be comfortable with the 8.2. Therefore, my suggestion is, this is what I feel, that we should go to 5 cap, and then we can work it down from there. I don't know if the commissioner have something else to say. That's just me.
Wait, Mareta, you want to say something?
Commissioner.
No, that's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, just to express that this is a situation every year in which there is a great deal of responsibility for the commission and the administration as well. And it's not an easy task to set up a millage for a city that historically have been one of the lowest millage rates in Miami-Dade County. I am not if I'm mistaken, but until probably last year, we were among the 10th lowest millage rate in Miami-Dade County.
No, sir, that happened after annexation. The year before annexation, the millage in the city was 4.65, which is...
No. Ralph, I'm sorry. I am not trying to enter into arguments. I'm just telling that historically we have been one of the lowest tax millage in the Miami-Dade County.
Since annexation.
Since ever.
Since
It's
annexation.
been always one of the lowest.
Since annexation.
Let him finish. Let him just...
So, and I understand that the mayor is interested and he wants to probably solve most of our financial problems in just a short period of time. But I was making some figures before I came here today. There are very few houses for $250,000 in the city of Sweetwater. Any small house is around $320,000. Now, when you compare the taxes based, let's say, in $300,000 for a house that is worth or is appraised $300,000 under the current millage rate 2.7493, the person is paying $824.79. If we go to 8.2, that person will be paying $1,621.56 above what he's paying right now, because it'll be $2,446 with 35 cents. When you subtract $824.79 from this amount of money, you're going to be paying $1,621. And I think that really hurts anybody's pocket in our city. And I compare this situation, or this millage, or this ceiling, or trim mill, to the same situation as if the state have come and take over the city. That's what they do. They increase taxes to 7, 8, 9, even 10, which is the maximum allowed by law. I think that that's extremely high, and even just considering this as a trim mill, it is, I don't think the city of Sweetwater, I mean the residents, cannot afford such a jump on the taxes on the property. So, as Commissioner Yanni was stating, we didn't get enough supporting documentation for this to analyze the budget or the. And I'm sorry, Ricardo and Ralph, I was supposed to meet you Friday and I couldn't, and this morning I got an unexpected situation that I couldn't come on time and meet with you. But I'm willing to meet you tomorrow or sometime down the week, and even with the mayor, so that you really show me what the figures are, what are all our liabilities, which are the ad valorem that we might consider to the minimum, not to the maximum, so that we can satisfy our needs and plan in the next 7 years or 8 years to be able to satisfy all our financial obligations.
Can I respond for just very
Absolutely.
quickly? I would like to point one thing out.
The president decides whether you
No, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay.
vote or not.
Last year, the millage was 2.74, and our ad valorem revenue was $3.5 million. If that figure holds true this year, using the same ad valorem, we will lose approximately half the ad valorem revenue if the sale does not go through. You lose, right off the top, you lose $1.6 million because there's already a court order in place. The prudent thing to do, and again, I don't have a vote on this, and I don't live in the city, you do. But the prudent thing to do is the safe thing to do, which is to vote to set the millage at what is necessary to fund all operating expenses this year, understanding that this is a millage cap. This is not the actual millage. Nobody is actually voting to raise taxes at this point. You're just voting for the figure that you're going to need to negotiate at or to discuss once the discussions on the budget begin and once you're able to understand whether the land sells or not. At 5 mills, right off the top, if the land does not sell, you're looking at losing $1.6 million like this.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Ralph, I understand that, and you are reiterating that this is not the millage rate that is going to be implemented. But it seems to be that the purpose of the administration is to have a high tax over the property when you want to reach out for such a trim mill at 8.2.
No, actually, with all due respect, sir, everybody's wish after the events of last year, and I think the wish of every elected official and the wish of the mayor, as expressed to me, is to return as many employees as possible who were laid off last year and fund city services. Those two things are related. I know that this is not a make-work location. You're not here to make jobs for people and keep people happy. I totally get that. However, at this point, the police department is grossly understaffed. The clerk's office is understaffed. The public works department is understaffed. There is maintenance that needs to be done that the city cannot afford. Now, to provide the services that your residents expect, there's a price tag that's associated with that. You have to add on top of that price tag what's it going to cost to pay off the region's line of credit. Any decision tonight that does not contemplate failure on August 30. You have to contemplate that. At least I urge you to.
Okay.
That you do need to contemplate that. Any decision that does not contemplate that is not prudent.
Are you
Now-
done, Commissioner Diaz?
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay, I gotta say something here because I had a little bit enough of this. If you look at the budget, I'm not an expert. I'm doing my best to get the resources of people to help us. We're back at the same level where we were last year. If you look at what the budget is, everything that everybody's talking about in the administration is the land and the property. Worst case scenario with the property, fine, I can understand that. It's gotta go in the budget, and I do understand that. What I don't understand is, number one, we're playing the game with the budget. There's no actual numbers here of how much we spent. You know what I mean? So how can we gauge some of the things? It's always been a tradition to put here, we're being hidden, the numbers. Like if we spent so much on gasoline, for example, gasoline, I forgot what the number was already. But the price of gasoline went down like $2, and we're gonna be getting more gasoline. Each department, if you were to tell me we're gonna keep all the people that we had before and the city was running okay and we're gonna bring them all back and everything's gonna be hunky-dory, that's fine. But the problem is that when you start looking at each department, I think in the mayor's or in administration, there's a 56% increase. In each other department, there's a 25% increase. For example, they preached last meeting that we might be getting a company to come in and to save money and do building and zoning. There's like a 25% increase in building and zoning expenses. So we don't have the actual numbers of the things, what we actually spent. So we can't work without that. And until the last 2 weeks is when the administration's been, I don't want to argue, Ralph, I just want to go through my stuff. So, because we're talking about the trim. And obviously, there's no way, I don't think there's any commission in the world that's gonna go up 300%. The taxes are gonna increase 3%, 3 times what anybody's paying. And I haven't had a resident, I only had some employees come up here and tell us that people want us to raise it. I think we should raise it. I think we have to use a number that we can bring down, not a ridiculous number that say it's just for discussion, a ridiculous number that's 3 times the amount. When we're increasing all these other departments more than what we had before, and there's bigger expenditures, we don't have an organizational chart that gives us the positions to say, hey, we have, for example, one of the big problems that we had was in the police department. The police department revenues were like 60% of our budget, like $10 million the year before. And it was very hard to come back and say, hey, we want to cut some of the police because it's just killing us with some of the issues that we had. But, for example, we had over 20 officers that left on their own. It wasn't because of anything else, on top of layoffs and other things, but the 20 that left on their own, those are positions that maybe you would say, hey, maybe 3 of those we won't fill this year, and that'll cover some of the pension costs or cover something. We don't have any numbers that give us any kind of an organizational chart that gives us a position counts by department. We don't know who's full-time, who's part-time.
Commissioner, if I may?
Let me go through my notes because I got a lot. I just want to get through it, please. We don't know if there's going to be increases in COLA, bonuses, merit raises. And then the other thing is kind of what I was saying was the positions that are available. We don't know what positions are going to be budgeted. Like, we want more officers. So with just giving you a general number, we don't know, are you going to buy more guns or are you going to get more officers? We don't know that because we don't know positions that are available or that are going to be given out or that actually have. We have professional fees in the clerk office. I think there were like $500,000. Meals, $29,000. There's a lot of things here that are not cleared up, and we can't say that we're going to increase a budget that last year was short, no matter whose budget. Forget about the lawsuit. Both budgets were not on the target. And and we need to increase, but you don't double the increase, and you do everything. For example, we want to put money in reserves, but we don't want to go as fast as we're going. Why general liability? It's double of everything that was there before in 1 year. We have a fuel, again, with the fleet. We don't have a breakdown of the fleet and the fuel. I'm not arguing and I'm not protesting. I'm just saying people need to understand that in order for us to set a trim, we need to have numbers.
I understand what you're saying. I do suggest, though, that that is a discussion on the budget, which is something to be discussed in workshops through August.
But what happens, Ralph, is exactly, you want to talk about the land. We need to pay the land. That's with the budget. But you guys don't want to talk about all the other items and things that are being put forth that we have no numbers on.
The process under trim
Right.
is that there is a proposed budget that's submitted,
Right.
which you have.
I know.
And there is a tentative millage that is set tonight.
Right.
Subsequent to that, there's workshops and discussions on the budget. There is a.
I get it.
There's a step process to all
I
this.
understand, but again, we're going to be cornered. And pretty much the number that we give tonight is going to be very close to what's going to be given in the budget by the mayor. So this thing of that we're going to come back later, what if the same thing happens again this year? On the last meeting, in the last hour, here you go, we're adding another $1 million.
I will say-
So let me say, lo quisiera decir en español. Lo que estamos hablando hoy es de poner la cantidad de los impuestos que van a tener en la ciudad de Sweetwater en los próximos años. En el próximo año, del año 15-16, en el presupuesto de 16-17, perdón. Y de lo que ha puesto el alcalde y la administración y el departamento de finanzas es más o menos para subir los impuestos 3 veces de lo que estamos pagando en este momento. Tenemos que entender que eso es una cosa ridícula para nosotros estar gastando el tiempo en resolver todos los problemas que pudiera tener la ciudad de un viandazo y subirle y por eso todo arriba de los ciudadanos que pagan los impuestos aquí. Nosotros estamos para defender su dinero. Obviamente se ha bajado de una manera grande hace 6 años cuando hubo la anexión, pero tenemos que ver y hay que subir. Los gastos han subido y las cosas han subido, pero no a un punto de 3 veces la cantidad que estamos pagando ahora. Es una cosa que tenemos que hablar razonablemente y discutir, que es lo que estamos haciendo aquí hoy, porque muchas de las cosas que están para subir los impuestos no están claras con la comisión, no nos dan los números que podemos de verdad hacer una decisión justa. La comisionada Yaño ha dicho que ella cree con 5, más o menos. Pero
no quiere decir que eso va a ser.
El número que ponemos hoy es el número
eso.
con que trabajamos y la administración trabaja para entonces ver si podemos cortar y bajar más. El número que vamos a dar hoy no es el que va a ser, pero no puede ser un número ridículo como 3 veces la cantidad de lo que estamos pagando ahora, porque eso no es justo para los ciudadanos. Hemos pasado tiempos difíciles. Si los tenemos que seguir pasando por un tiempo más, los pasamos, pero nosotros queremos lo mejor para los ciudadanos, la seguridad de los ciudadanos y todo, pero por eso vamos seguro tener que subir algo, pero no a un punto abusivo y tener que resolver todo. Muchas de estas cosas son cosas que ahora tengo que decir que sí, la administración está tratando de hacer negociar, pero hace un año que no lo ha hecho. Y hemos llegado a este momento y ahora que sí están tratando de hacerlo y estamos tratando de trabajar juntos, pero es ridículo tratar de gastar el tiempo de nosotros a estar horas y horas analizando una cosa de 80 páginas con diferentes números, que no son los números que de verdad actualmente nos hacen falta y son una fantasía para trabajar con eso, para entonces tratar de cogernos de bobo, para entonces bajar al último minuto y llegar que esto es lo que hay y con eso es lo que tenemos que trabajar. De mi parte, yo quisiera hacer, si usted va a hacer...
To the chair before we vote.
¿Usted quería hablar, Eduardo?
Sí, yo quería hacerle una pregunta al comisionado Díaz. You say it's too high, 8.22. Maybe minimum. What is your opinion? What is minimum your opinion?
To me?
Yes.
Ok. Yo primero quisiera dirigirme a las personas. ¿Cuántos residentes de Sweetwater hay acá en la audiencia? Ok. ¿Cuántos de ustedes quisieran pagar $1,621 más por su propiedad? Si vale $300,000. ¿Cuántos de ustedes, si la propiedad vale $250,000, quisieran pagar $1,352 más sobre el costo de su propiedad? ¿Qué impacto le haría a su vida en los groceries, en el seguro del carro, en las letras, en todo?
En la renta.
Okay, I'm asking to the residents present here in this meeting, how many of you would like to pay $1,621 more this year if your house is worth or value or appraised for $300,000, which any house right now in the city of Sweetwater is worth that much. Even if we go down to a house or the property that costs $250,000, you will be paying, compared to what we pay now, $1,351. Now, this more than what you're paying. That's on top of what you're paying, not what you were paying. More, that'll be plus the $687 that you're paying right now. Now, the administration, I say, have the intentions to cover all the deficits, all the financial obligations, bring, I don't know, Cadillacs for all the employees, the gasoline, the gas consumption. We have less employees right now, less police officers, less cars, and the gas expenditures are going to be over by 25 or 26%. Well, as President Bergignan was saying, there are numbers that we need to be more realistic and be provided to the commission to set up this kind of. We know that we have to go up in our taxes, that we have to continue operating the city and giving the residents the best possible service. But if that service, I think that we can offer a good service if we tighten our pants or our belt and don't increase the taxes so much. I think that that's abusive and it is totally away from reality. Now, if we are setting up the trim mill tonight, I was sitting in that seat, Mayor Lopez, and you made it extremely hard to me unnecessarily. But I know that dealing with a restricted budget is very tough in order to offer all the operations. And I think that there is a motion already on the floor by Commissioner Yanio.
I don't believe there's a motion on the floor.
There is no motion. It's been discussion.
Your opinion.
My opinion, exactly. I only say my opinion.
This is your opinion, not my opinion.
I'm
sorry.
I'm gonna say that if you go from 274.93 to 8.2, you are increasing at 298% the millage rate. If you divide it by 2, it's gonna be still 149%, which is gonna be 4.1. So if everyone is done and ready to take a motion, you let me know if there is no more discussion. Because
Well, I'd like to say one more thing here. Look, for example, this is just one of a few things that we found out. We have a memo from the Commissioner Pepe Diaz, District 12, that was given to us, and more or less, because it gets a little complicated here, there is allocations and reimbursement funds available that we have of over $186,000. And the county and the Commissioner's office has also found that there's $392,589,000 in CDBG funds available for stormwater improvements. So there's a lot of little things like that that we found out, and that's not saying that the mayor has not done anything about that part of it, because there's things that over time have gone through people have missed. So I'm not blaming you for that, I'm not getting into that, but I'm saying doing our homework and having the right numbers.
Could I clarify something on that?
Yes.
We are well aware of the $400,000 of CDBG for stormwater drainage. We have $400,000 plus another 100 and change, which is a total of about $500,000. We need $1 million to finish the last drainage project.
Right.
That's why those monies haven't been used. We had requested that from the state this year, and we originally got the money, and then it was chopped off the allocation budget.
Right.
Had we received that, then we can use these and the $100,000 from FEMA.
Right.
But we are well aware of those monies,
Right.
just like we have about $16,000 in sidewalk repairs, that those are being used for the purchase of the concrete to repair the sidewalks. All these monies we're well aware of. The problem is that there are reimbursements once you spend them. Just like those $300,000 for CDBG for drainage. Once the drainage project is done, it's reimbursed. None of this is
That was
budgetable
for
money.
2B, isn't 2B done?
No, this wasn't for 2B. 2B is done. 2B North is done. 2B South is done.
Well, what I'm
There's-
telling you is that one particular is for 2B, that was never used.
There was a section of 2B South that was removed because we didn't have enough monies in
Right.
in grant
So it's still
reimbursements.
available.
So it's still available.
Okay.
But
So-
that project is about $1 million. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that we're well aware of these monies that are left
Okay.
for grants, but they're not budgetable monies.
Right. But you gotta understand that if you're telling us that we're gonna put everything back and all we really have to worry about is the property, that would be understandable. Well, the little bit of, that I could gather from this is, you're going up about an average of 25% a department, past what we used to be. So we're gonna grow the city, pay everything off, it's a wish list, but at the cost of the citizens, and that's not right. Not at 3 times the amount they're paying, Last year, you proposed 4.5, and you said that would do it. I think if we're looking somewhere around 5, 4.9, somewhere around there, I think we're going to be able to do it, which I'm very hesitant to do, but I know that we can work at cutting that down.
Last year, when we presented the 4.5, we thought that that was sufficient money to cover the operating expenses of the city without all the additional debt that has come out, and we found out about over the last year. One of the biggest things that's, let's say, is affecting the next year's budget is the fact that the widening of DOT removed 7 cameras from the city. The city relied too much on the red light camera program, which produced about $1 million to the city budget every year. Right now, there's only 1 camera on Northwest 12th Street that doesn't cover its expenses, which that alone removes $1 million off the
But
normal
if you
budget.
think about it, if you want to get into the camera thing, and it's not necessarily just for revenues, but it's really helped a lot on Flagler and 107th,
You're
4th and
absolutely correct.
107th.
You're absolutely correct.
We had talked 2 years ago, and you never implemented it, to put another 6 cameras that would have provided revenue. And second of all, some of the cameras that were taken down, from what I understand, were not part of the project. There was one on 107th over there by BJ's. That's gone, from what I understand, because we don't get all the information that we ask for sometimes. Some of these cameras could have been relocated or adjusted, or whatever you want to call it.
It takes
So
6
that's
months
some-
to get relocated.
I understand, 6 months would have passed already, you know what I'm saying? If it would have been done. We would have had 6 more cameras, we would have had these relocated, and some of that $1 million would still be here. So it was never done. Those are things that you didn't do, and now you're trying to say that, wow, it's gonna hurt us.
May I?
Yes, sir.
I don't like camera. It's impossible. My people pay. It's impossible, Mayor. Taxes, rent, comida, everything is impossible.
Commissioner,
Camera.
I didn't put cameras in the city.
It's
Right now,
not
there are
much
7
money for the city. I have record.
I did not put the cameras in the city. The commission voted on this.
You are
several
director
years
to
ago.
have to me everything. How much money to the city? No,
Okay,
no,
Commissioner.
officer, not too much money for the city.
Through the chair-
Camera.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My people pay.
Finish.
Go ahead.
I need a legal definition, clear cut, because when I came to the meeting, I thought I had my thoughts clear in my mind, but after listening the words, I'm a little confused now. So I need a legal definition of what are we doing here tonight? Are we increasing the taxes? Or are we setting a cap
Setting a
that
cap.
we cannot go beyond that, but we could go below that? Are we, which one of those are, please explain clearly.
Commissioner, the action being considered by the commission right now basically will establish a ceiling for possible ad valorem taxation. After it is set, you will not have the ability to go higher. You would only have the ability to keep it at the established rate or go below that. So in fact, you're only setting the ceiling, the cap, the threshold that you cannot go beyond that. You can only go down.
Taking it to an extreme, I know this is an extreme. It cannot go over 8.2, but it can go down to 0, which is impossible, but just, you know.
You're right.
If what is set is what the mayor is proposing, you cannot tax beyond the 8.2. You can work it down. If you choose that number or any other number below 8.2, that is the ceiling. You cannot go above that. You can only tax to a number below that threshold.
Does the number that we set tonight has any influence on the final number that will be selected for September 30? In other words, if we select tonight 8.2, which is the suggested by the mayor, we can only go down to 7. But if we set tonight 5, we can go down to 3. Is there any influence on the level of the number that we select tonight, on the final number that will be achieved on September 30?
This commission has absolute discretion to go ahead and establish a threshold, a number at the threshold established today or below by the first public hearing. As far as what influence would it have, that is something that this commission will have to take into consideration along with all any budget proposals from the administration and any work or any policy directive that this commission takes into consideration vis-a-vis the budget. All those factors basically are just the work and the deliberation that this commission have to take into effect as far as to what influence would the number that you picked today has. I can't determine that because it's just basically the work that this commission has to do to come up with a millage rate at the first public hearing, budget hearing.
Is there a possibility that the commission start working on the budget, on the workshops from now until September 30? And we lower the number that we select tonight, we lower it in the forthcoming 2 months and come up with a budget. But then the mayor may say, like it happened last year, no, that's not the budget. It is my budget, the 8.2, you know?
Commissioner, the answer to your question is yes, this commission can go ahead and begin to.
We got to go to court again and spend money again?
In conjunction with the administration to go ahead and start workshopping the budget, to come up to a budget proposal that is in line to whatever millage is set right now or later on when it sets the final millage rate.
But did you pick up my question? Maybe I didn't clearly express it. We work on the workshops to try to reduce the number that we select tonight. And we come up with a budget, let's say September 26th. But then the administration may say, no, I don't want that budget, I want my budget. We got to go to court again like we have to go this year?
What I can tell you, Commissioner,
It seems
is
like we
that
are resolving
as
all the-
long as
It seems like we're resolving in this city here all the problems in court.
Commissioner, I will answer it this way. Whatever threshold is set, whatever millage, tentative millage rate you choose today, and whatever millage rate you ultimately choose later on, as long as your budget is balanced, utilizing the revenue generated by that millage rate, as long as it's balanced, that's the budget.
Yeah, but you know, we have to go to court to get the definition of the word available. That the judge put a stress on that the money from the sale was not available. And that one word available is the one that kills us, because the money was not available. The lot hasn't been sold yet. So, you know what I mean. We have to go back to court
Right.
again.
If I can,
Go ahead.
this is the
President.
reasoning that I use.
Go ahead.
Why are you gonna put a millage higher than you would vote for? That's number one. So what happens is it's gonna be another exercise. If you say 7, they're gonna bring it back a budget with 7. And then we're gonna have to fight about the budget and the number and who and the gas and the thing all over again. So I think we put a number that we can live with ultimately, if we have to, but hopefully we can bring it down. That's why, like, if the number that she gave is a 5, I don't want a 5. We should be able to work down and bring down a 5.
Exactly.
But that's reasonable. That gives you a number to work with. But 8 is something we're not gonna work with. And we'd have to go through whatever 3, he says, whatever millage point would be somewhere around $1.5 million. So we're gonna have to go through $3 million of taking stuff off so that they can get to the same point that we're doing.
Mr. President.
And the second thing is exactly what I just said. If you give them that number, then that's the number they're gonna work with. So it does really influence the final number because
One of my questions, will it influence the final number? How high or how low?
it influences
we go
it
tonight?
indirectly. Because we can make it whatever we want. But realistically, we're trying to increase the taxes responsibly. But we can't start with 3 times the amount. And that's why,
I had a question. The workshop we're supposed to do it after the election day, no before. To change the different issues in the budget after August 30.
Another thing, that, from what I understand, the process, how it usually works in most cities is we should have had a workshop before the budget. Not a workshop, a community. I don't know what you want to call it, a town hall meeting, where the community comes and gives you what they want, what they don't want. There's a what I learned throughout this process from some of the accountants that I spoke with was that hold on, let me see. Yes. That there's about 10 steps that are usually done in the city before all this budget stuff takes place, and we're not doing it. That's something that the administration has to set up and do. We're not doing those things either. So, okay, Ms. Yanni?
Are you gonna be talking before we make a decision?
Oh, you want to talk before we make the
Before we
decision?
make the decision?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
1 minute. I came over, good evening, commissioners. I'm Cecilia Rosa Russo.
Cecilia, can I
49
make-
Southwest 105 Place.
Through the chair, can I just make a clarification to Commissioner Suarez? Commissioner Suarez, you tell a child that you're gonna take him to a trip and the most you can spend is $20, but we should bring it down as much as possible. And this is the same example. You offer $20, when you go with a child to the trip, he's gonna want to get everything as possible until he reaches the $20 budget. And what President Bourguignon was saying, we can set up the treadmill, let's say to 6, and the administration most likely is gonna try to balance the budget based on a 6. And if they does it to the 6 and the commissioner, is not happy with it, then it's gonna be another legal controversy. So I want all my colleagues to keep in mind that those fluctuations are sometimes very hard to obtain due to the fact that you set up already a treadmill, a ceiling. But based on that ceiling, most likely the administration is gonna balance the budget. Even though we are in the best interest to work with the administration and try to come out with alternative like the garbage company. I think that there is room there to cut a lot of expenses. And other operations from the city that can be maximized efficiently and to bring it down in cost.
Through the chair,
Sir.
please let me respond.
And I.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I-
Maybe I don't have to say anything. You just
Yes, you will.
No, I just want to say that I heard you, and I agree with most of what you say, except one flaw on your hypothesis.
Where is it?
We are not children.
Well, because we are not children, we end up in courts.
Okay,
Not because we want to end it up.
one last thing. I don't want anyone here to misinterpret that I want to raise taxes. I am also a resident of Sweetwater. Years before I sat on this seat here, and I will have to pay the same taxes that you had to pay.
Right.
And I am not a rich person either. I don't want to raise taxes, but we have to accept, and I guess that by now, everybody here accept that the city is in a bad financial situation. We have to get out of this hole, and we have to get out of it without having to go to Tallahassee. We have to resolve it here, and we are trying hard, and that's why we are here tonight, trying hard. The city is in a bad financial situation. I guess everybody accept at least that.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Alonso, I'm sorry.
I don't know where to begin now. Okay, I came tonight to ask Mayor Lopez, good evening, Mayor Lopez,
Good evening,
why
Cecilia.
he wanted to raise taxes. But now that I hear too many things going on in 2 paragraphs, maybe 3, can you tell me why you want to raise taxes?
Cecilia,
So
I don't-
everybody can hear you in Spanish.
Cecilia,
I
don't wanna-
represent the city.
I don't want to raise taxes. There is about $4 million in obligations that the city is kicking over from, let's say, like the last 18 months or 2 years of that the city's pushing forward. There are pension obligations to the PBA. There's the debt to the region's line of credit. There's increases in salaries and everything. There's increases everywhere. There's increases in health insurance. Even in this budget where we had budgeted a 10% increase in the health insurance coverage, we finally got the quote today, which was 12.8%. Every single commissioner here and everybody has been asking to staff the city as it was previously, to properly staff a police department, which would require 55 full-time bodies, to bring back all the employees that were laid off from Public Works, from the parks, from every single department. That's what this would cost. That's what this would cost, and to pay off all the obligations that we have with regions and everything. Now, this is a worst-case scenario. Obviously, as all the discussion has been going back and forth right now, there's a referendum for August 30th to sell where the voters will have the opportunity to vote to be able to sell the land. If we sell the land, we have a $2.8 million contract for the sale. That will cover the $650,000 bond that we have with the land and 1.6 and change that we owe regions. That will provide a $400,000 surplus. That in itself will lower the trim or the millage set from 8.2 to just under 6.5, I believe about 6.4. There's about $1 million that is owed to the PBA right now since we're still in the process of negotiating with the pension for the police officers, we were budgeting $500,000 or $350,000 over the next 3 years. We are in the process of negotiating with them to be able to budget over 7. If we do that, the $350 will lower down to $100. So this is just being able to pay everything within our time. But these are the expenses that the city has right now. It's not me wanting to raise taxes. Nobody wants to raise taxes. Not any single elected official will stand here and say, I want to raise taxes. This is just the cost of business. One of the things that the city has to remember, and everybody's forgotten, is that the millage rate in the city was 4.6 previous to annexation. We lowered it to mirror what the county's UMSA was at the time, which was 2.92 or 2.74. Since then, the county has raised to 4.6. We've stayed at 2.74. The county has realized that it had to raise taxes to be able to cover the cost of doing business, of producing, serving the community. Had we actually raised the taxes to 4.5 last year, we would have been able to sustain all the services in the city without the debt structure that developed over the last year, because that didn't come in afterwards. We would have still had to deal with that in this budget year. So that I want to raise taxes, that's an inaccurate. It's just to try to set a proper millage to cover all the expenses in the city.
Okay. Have you sent a notice to the resident telling them what is going on with the taxes? And
Cecilia,
why?
you were an elected official as well. You
I
understand
know,
that
but
the
we did
trim,
send notices.
this is this meeting. Whatever the millage is set at, the trim is set
Okay,
today,
but the
this
notice to
millage.
them, so they know to come to the meeting and listen,
Okay,
and they can provide an input.
correct. It's advertised in the paper, as you are well
Yeah,
aware.
well, in the paper.
Then whatever the trim is set today, that trim package, that trim notice is sent out to all the residents in the city. From this point forward, all the way through September 30th, we have an opportunity to lower it.
Okay, but how about every meeting that you have from then on, until September, October, when you decide what you're gonna do with the taxes?
Mhm.
Can you just send a notice?
How do you expect us to send a notice?
What do you mean, how do you?
How do you
Through the
expect us?
mail?
Okay, I need the commissioners to, if we're gonna have it, let's say, an average of about 8 meetings, to budget about $5,000 per mailer to be able to send out notices.
Well,
Cecilia, they're published on the website to ask the city to notify every single resident in, every single household that there is going to be any form of meeting in the future. That's something that's totally ridiculous.
Well, I was talking to a lady before that she said someone went to her house, to her apartment complex, to tell them to come to this meeting. Is anybody from your office
No, ma'am.
doing that?
No, ma'am.
She doesn't remember where's the lady?
Cecilia, if I can, one of the things that's important, what he said to me is inaccurate. It's not to cover all the expenses. Because if you look at with what I could tell, most of the departments are being increased by like 25%.
I know, I understand.
So
I
it's
heard
not
you.
to cover our costs.
Yeah, I know.
This is all a play on the property thing. And it's really an increase.
But like
Anyway.
Ms. Johnny, our Commissioner Johnny say, can you cap it at 5? Would you be able to work with 5?
If the referendum does
I
not pass.
mean, if they pass it, I don't know what's in each of their minds.
Okay, if the referendum does not pass on August 30th, with the debt that we have to pay regions, a millage rate of 5 will not produce sufficient money in the city to cover all the expenses.
We raised taxes many years ago, and it was really bad. I'm telling you.
I know.
It could be over again.
I know. See,
I
taxes
mean,
were
if you
raised
raise
almost
a little
every single
bit,
year.
a little bit doesn't hurt.
That would have
But
been the
if you
smart
go
thing to do
high,
last year.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt everybody.
That-
I'm retired.
That would have been the smart thing to do last year.
Yeah, I'm retired. My husband is retired, so we don't want more taxes that we are already paid. So I agree with Mr. Diaz and President Bergignan, all their comments, but I would like to see more people comment and offer their
Like
feelings
the
to
gentleman
come
that came here,
here.
he's been doing his homework apparently.
Yeah.
Commissioner Duazo.
Cecilia, I don't remember what year you commissioner and president of the council.
Don't tell my age, please.
You remember how many years you commissioner and president of the council? You don't remember?
It was from
You remember when Cecilia?
1991 to 1997.
When Matilde Aguirre.
I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Still, you are a little girl.
In height. Anyway, I agree with what you said, and I agree with what you said, but I want to make sure the other residents know
Understood.
what you're talking about
Okay.
and why you're expressing,
Gracias.
okay?
Okay, Commissioner Young?
Yes, oh, sorry. May I?
Oh,
Oh, okay, go ahead. Okay, I would like to put a motion, 5-point cap, and that doesn't mean that's the end of it. We will work on it to bring it down as much as we can because we need to protect the citizen of the Sweetwater. I'm a resident myself too. So,
5.00?
5 point, yes.
5 point.
That's a
do you have
cap.
a second? I second it for 5.00. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maronio?
I want to say 6. Maybe 6 is better because we need to give it a service to the public. Everybody need police. Everybody need service. So
It's a
I want a
question,
little
yes or
more.
no?
I need a little more. I want a little more. 6.
Okay, so you vote no for
No,
5.
no.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Duazo?
We have to devote 5%.
No. 5-point cap.
Cap,
Then we're gonna
5-point cap.
And then we work it out.
8.2, no, 5
No,
point cap. Okay.
5 cap.
Have some money paid my citizen for 5 points.
Depende de la
¿Cuánto
casa.
paga? Depende del valor de la casa.
But
Pero
again,
depende del budget también.
Commissioner, this is the cap. That doesn't mean that we're going to leave it at 5. We can work on it, we workshop, and bring it down.
Maybe down.
Exactly. That's the cap. That's the cap.
Okay. I vote yes, pero maybe in next meeting, maybe down.
Okay.
Commissioner Yanio?
Yes.
Commissioner Barreto?
Yes, pero quiero estar seguro que los residentes sepan que esto no va a ser la última decisión de los comisionados. Esto vamos a empezar a trabajar y a reducirlo a nombre de todos los residentes de Sweetwater. Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
That's a yes, and I want to clarify as well that I hope that the administration takes into consideration that this is not a rich city, neither is the residents are rich to pay so much taxes. Quiero aclararle a la comunidad que estamos aprobando lo que le llaman el treadmill, que sería el máximo posible que se pudieran aumentar los impuestos a un 5%, pero que vamos a trabajar con la administración a ver si podemos bajarlo y aún así brindar todavía el nivel de servicio que tiene que tener la ciudad.
My opinion, please, President.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Díaz, I respect your opinion. Pero no tenemos que trabajar con la administración. Ese es un deber de los comisionados ajustar el presupuesto. Perdón.
Through the chair.
Sir?
Comisionado Duazo, le quiero responder que precisamente por la falta de entendimiento entre la administración, tengo el piso, por favor, por falta de entendimiento entre la administración y la comisión, es que se están gastando cientos de miles de dólares en las cortes por ese desajuste. Creo que pase lo que pase, la administración y la comisión tienen que sentarse y trabajar y llevarle a los residentes el mejor producto posible.
You're right.
I want to repeat it in English that
En Spanish.
did I?
No, it was Spanish.
It was Spanish to English.
Say in English.
All right. I want to make it clear that we are setting up a trim mill of 5.0, and we will do our best working with the administration in trying to bring the taxes or the ad valorem to the property to a point in which we can still serve the community and deliver the services that we have to. Why it's important to work with the administration? Because we don't want to end up in court again. So it is better to work together. Thank you.
Okay.
President Bergenia?
Yes. Okay, so we have 6-1.
6-1.
Okay, 5 is the millage rate. Tentative.
Tentative.
We're gonna work hard. I know the mayor and everybody, he's been trying to come up with new
Tentative.
stuff, but I think it'll work.
Mr. President, Mr. Cuenca would like to say a few words.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say that I think it's unfair to the residents. I want to say that I've been living here for 11 years, and capital improvements on my block alone, I've been asking for 11 years emphatically for that to be improved, and it still hasn't been improved. But now I have an increase in taxes, which is, again, completely unfair. I'm sure all the residents here will agree with me. Again, I didn't come prepared with a full breakdown of the financial statement, and there's a lot of areas there that I know that can be cut instead of raising taxes on the residents. And I also want to add, I also want to say what a lot of people are thinking, which is a lot of bad decisions were made in the past, and now we have to pay for it. Completely unfair. I mean, I don't think, you know, I know we're still in a democratic government, as last I checked.
Anytime that you can call me and we'll sit down and we'll talk. And I welcome you to come to the workshops. Nobody shows up. This is the most as anybody's ever showed up here in all this time. There's only been a couple of people that have showed up here that act appropriately, first of all. So we welcome you. Come to the workshops, talk to administration, talk to us. We're willing to work.
But I think there should be some accountability if someone made the decision, and now we're getting the tax rate increased, and it wasn't our fault.
I understand, and I'm not defending those decisions. And I think you kind of need to understand that some of these decisions were made that at the time were proper, and some of the decisions that were made, I can tell you that there's monies missing. There's a lot of different things that have happened, but state attorney doesn't help. We had people that, in my opinion, stole $135,000 from our sidewalk fund. State attorney doesn't charge them. These are the kind of things. We went with the proof. Here you go. They don't do anything. So there's a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of other things. We've tried. Last year, I had to beg to get $140,000, and I started at 140, and I ended up with 40 because the commission was kind of the political thing they were against. That was when Jose Diaz was mayor, Jose M. Diaz, and I had to beg for $40,000 to get a little roller, and they were fighting me over the horsepower, the color, if it's the lease, if it's not, to be able to do some of the paving that we needed to do. This street is at City Hall. This is the worst street in the city probably here if you go down to the end. It's shameful. They were giving us trees. They wouldn't take it. So these are decisions that some people have strong-armed just for political reasons. And I'm sure that I'm at fault for some things, like everybody else, but some of the major decisions here were made, and people got away with things that probably weren't legal. And you also have to understand that we took down the rate from 4.6, I believe, to 2.7, and I never had anybody come here and thank us. Nobody ever said anything good about it. And our attempt has been to get those monies through the annexation, and even that has been a problem somewhat because of issues we've had. We have a hotel who's been trying to build for a year and a half, and paperwork doesn't get signed. You know, the amount of revenue and fixing the streets. One of the issues that we have here tonight before us is going to be being able, monies that we can't afford, and we're going to have people that develop their property fix complete streets that are a mess, and then they can be repaid through impact fees and such. So at the same time, we are where we are, and I hate saying that, but the problem is we need to solve the problem as intelligibly as we can. But we need to have communication between the commission and the administration, and the
residents.
And the residents. The residents don't show up. The residents don't say anything. They just go with what the news. The press, they only come here when they want to start something, stir. Because I know that in other cities they have the same problems, but they don't do anything. We're the only people that call the press to make it worse, you know.
So moving forward, how do we avoid theft and those other negatives that have happened to the city in the past? What do we have in place?
The only thing that we have in place is that when we get audited, that some of these, one of the things that happened here before, there was a lot of cash going around, and it never gets to deposited, or it never gets to something of that nature. So what happens? The auditor's not their fault. They only see, hey, they deposited $20,000. We have the $20,000 accounted for. You know, there's a lot of issues that are still unresolved, and I think that it's not to say that we're not going to work on it, but we've tried certain things and they just aren't resolved by the people that can charge people with these issues, you know, and say, hey, this is where the money went, or this is what happened. So I think what we need to do is look forward. We need to say, hey, okay, we're in this hole. It's kind of like if you're at home and you got laid off and you only had $100 in the bank. You can sit there and fight about it all day long with your wife, but the bottom line is you got $100 in the bank and you're out of a job. So what are you going to do? We're in that position right now. So we're doing the best we can. We don't want to raise, hey, I live here. Same thing. We pay the same thing. And we're not rich. So our whole idea is to try to solve the problems that we can, but not by solving it all in 3 times the amount of the taxes that we're paying now. At the rate that we're talking about now, we're probably talking somewhere around, instead of a 300% increase, it's about 100% increase is where we're gonna start to work at. So now the idea is to bring it down. But remember, we were at 4.6, so we brought it down to 2.7, and we've lived like that for 6 years. And things have gone up, like the mayor said, issues. Same thing with the trash, same thing with, all kinds of costs, trucks, insurances, just regular services. So we've really lived, as best as we could with what we had.
Now, you mentioned increases of 25% in departments. Is that in line with the cost of living? I mean, why are we increasing?
No, the 25% increase would be like, just to give you an example, so we won't get too technical, is if we had 10 employees in the passport office, and they were doing the job that we needed, and because of the issues that we've had this year, we've had to cut, let's say, 5 of them, just to give you an example, I'm making it up. We had to cut 5 of them. The budget doesn't say, hey, let's cover the cost for these 5 employees. They're saying, hey, let's add another 25% to that budget. So what is he gonna do? Is he gonna hire more people? Are they gonna buy more machines? Are they gonna make more passports? That's what, they don't tell us. And then when you usually get a budget usually tells you all the numbers of what you spent last year. So you have something to gauge by. But all of a sudden say 25% more, well, what's it gonna be on? So it's not just to go back to where we were. They're increasing in every department 25%. Why? I mean, to give you a good reason, like you gotta understand some of the departments don't make revenue. Parks doesn't make us any money. Okay, but it's something we want to provide to the citizens the best we can, and that you lose money. You go to Passports provides us $500,000 a year. A little office down there. So that's something that, okay, if you want a 25% increase because you're gonna hire 5 more people and open on Sunday night, and at 7 in the morning, then I understand that you're providing revenue. But just to go to the building department and hire a private company to come in and, because we're gonna reduce the amount of money is what we were told, and which we still haven't got the bids back yet or whatever, but now, why is there a 25% increase in there? If we're saving money, why is there a 25% here? We're gonna grow the building department? Why? That kind of thing. So that's all it is. So
are you saying that approvals happen, budget approvals happen without having all the information?
No, what's happened this whole last year is the mayor has even called for meetings to come here for, we've called for budget revisions and budget amendments. The staff doesn't show up. We have no sergeant at arms, nobody from the finance department. You have 7 commissioners, a city attorney, and a city clerk sitting here with no information over 10 times. And then we're the bad guys. We're destroying the city. We're doing all these bad things. They send out little flyers. We're bad people. So at the end of the day, we're sitting here, and they make a meeting. They don't come. They don't show up.
So does the state oversee the city?
The state will only come in, from what I understand, under certain conditions that are under Florida statutes. One of them being that if there's criminal stuff going on, or that you're to the point where you're not paying anything of anything. Not paying anything. I think you have to not pay your employees and not pay certain things. You have to meet a certain criteria. That's the only way they're going to come in. And everybody has to agree. But what was happening with us was, and that's why that a couple of meetings ago I got very hot, was because the administration had not done anything in a whole year except pound us with, hey, you didn't raise taxes, so we're going to lay off people. So we're going to make everybody hurt. They made the employees hurt. They made the citizens hurt. They made the commissioners hurt. Everybody hurt. Instead of solving these problems, which after that meeting, look, today we have the thing of the 7 years. Why? Why a whole year? Everybody that we talked to was willing to negotiate with us. Nobody came forward to them. When they come here to the meeting, the pension people came here, we asked them the other day. Said, no, nobody ever came to us. And we're not here collecting. We want to work with you. And all of a sudden now, hey, we're going to get a 7-year contract. Instead of paying $700,000, we pay $100,000 for 7 years. But what you need to understand is that's not the commission. The administrator is the mayor. I'm not allowed to go to the bank and if they love me at the bank and I tell them, hey, listen, how about we pay you guys $100,000 a year for the next 16 years instead of the $1.6 million? I can't do that. That's not our job. We're not allowed to do that. So since we brought it up a couple of weeks ago in a meeting, the mayor has been moving forward on some of these items, to get, but it took a year, because he was, you know, with blinders on, trying to pound the commission.
Do you have deadlines to make decisions?
Sir?
Do you have deadlines to make decisions as a group?
No, when he brings it forward. For example, if he never would have gone now to the people from the pension and said, hey, you guys want to make a deal? Then nothing would have happened, which is what was happening. And then the only thing we can approve is once he brings a deal.
Can I clarify something really quick?
Dictatorship, basically.
This is called
Chairman?
a strong mayor.
Strong mayor.
Chairman,
We need to get rid of that form.
Can I clarify that something real quick? It really wasn't going to interject because it wasn't really necessary, but I'm going to explain something. Months ago, I, as well as everybody here, was under the belief that Quadra was negotiating with the PBA to defer this debt over 3 years. When I sat down with Quadra in my office, I said, let's wait because we have to negotiate when we figure out what the debt is on October 1st. So when I, as well as you guys, were under the assumption that we were negotiating, he may have been negotiating with the PBA, but it was the wrong entity. So when Peter Strong came here a couple of meetings ago and said that nobody had reached out to his office, that's when we reached out to him and said, we were always under the assumption that that this was being negotiated by Guillermo Quadra. He said nobody's reached out to his office. So apparently Quadra had probably been discussing with the PBA, but not the actuarial, which is the person that was supposed to be done.
Right.
So
But
it
being
was
strong
just,
mayor, that's your job. That's not his job.
but when he
Same
was
with all the other
told,
things.
if I may finish something
Go
now.
ahead.
So when you're saying that nothing's been done for a year, everything's been done for a year. The problem is that when that came to light the other day, I can laugh when you start speaking to, when you start, saying all your little mistruths. So when that came to light the other day, that's when we reached out to Peter Strong to find out what was the drop in the communication. And apparently it was Quadra was negotiating with the PBA and not the actuarial, which is the company that was supposed to be done. Then we started in the process, and this had actually been done before that meeting by the chief of police, so that we can defer the debt, because we were assuming that it was over 3 years, but we were actually been able to negotiate now for a possible 7-year extension.
Okay. Thank you.
Chief.
So anything, contact administration, contact us. Through the city clerk's office is how you're gonna get a hold of us. We don't have, they took away our secretary, by the way. So through the city clerk's office, if you would, please.
Mr. Cuenca, you can call me whenever you like, and I can clarify a lot of things for you.
Mr. Chair, I want to address if you don't mind, I want to address one of his concerns. real
If you
quick.
can make it quick, please.
2 seconds. 10 seconds.
All right.
Just so everyone knows, regarding the issues with the monies, so you feel comfortable, there are matters that are ongoing and pending that I cannot discuss, but every last penny we're looking to account for. Okay, so just so you're aware, we are on it and we are working on it. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move on. And let's see here. We're gonna do B and then we're gonna do I and M, right? He thought he was gonna leave early. Where's
Well, if I may,
Yes, sir.
Quadra asked me to pull B because there's a scribbler's error, and this resolution is really not time sensitive. So I'd like to pull B as well. So if we can jump to I and M so we can accommodate Eric and he can leave early.
Pull or table?
It's to
Pull
defer
for
the
now.
item for
It's-
the
it's-
next, to the next
it's
available
okay.
meeting.
Yeah, for the next meeting,
So
it'll
we're
come
gonna
back
defer
up.
for the next meeting?
It will require a motion and a vote.
Okay, so I move to move item B to the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so
Eh.
I and M.
Aye.
Licio.
Vamos a Y. No, eso es último. Por ahora, sí, señor. Ahora vamos a Y.
No, aye.
Aye.
A resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of Sweetwater, Florida, authorizing and ratifying an increase to the stormwater utility rate and providing an effective date. Mayor, sorry.
Yes, Eric stepped out. Oh, there he is.
I know we had this discussion on the special
Right.
commission meeting, and
I didn't get any information. Maybe I missed it on email or something, but I didn't get any information that we asked for.
it was my understanding that the finance director had contacted Ralph and I guess addressed your concern regarding, I think your concern was what can the money be used for and.
No, my concern
And how
was
much?
How much and what did we use it for this year, last year? And how much the increase is gonna be and what's gonna be used for?
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that question. I don't have the answer to that question.
Their increase is from 4 to 550.
Right.
Right, but the total amount, now what are we gonna use it for?
It's $18 a year, because it's $1.50 more a month.
It's $1. They said $1. It was from $4 to $5.
No, it's $4 to $5.50, right?
Yeah. What happened, even on the last one, if you guys didn't catch it, what happened was, it was first approved or proposed at 5, but we didn't get the, what's called the stormwater utility report from the state that showed all the different ERU, or the stormwater utility fees within the state that each county's billing, and also within the county. And then I provided a table, if you see, that shows the average being like, I think it was 559 or something like that within the different cities within Miami-Dade County. And then I proposed 550 to make it, basically less than the other municipalities and even in the county.
But is that what's written in here? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's in the, it should be in the report that you have.
Okay, how come, where's Ralph?
Oh?
He was gonna give us the information. Because Indira called me. Oh,
Yes, I did send you an email.
okay, I missed it, I'm sorry, because I had so many.
Yes, I sent an email to Commissioner Daniel, to you, and to Commissioner Suarez.
Okay. So that's my fault. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
So it went up $1.50 more?
$1.50 per month per residential. And commercial, it's per square footage.
Correct.
Because right now my bill shows like I'm paying $5.52. I'm not paying $4 on my water bill.
For the stormwater utility fee?
You should be paying 12.
And if it isn't, then maybe it's inaccurate, and if it's on a quarterly
I
basis, then it's
like $69 a year that I'm paying.
well, you should be paying $4 per month.
You should be paying 12 on
Right.
every month, on every bill.
Right, and every bill, which is
Every
because it's
bill?
quarterly.
No, every bill, it says $5 and something.
You're being billed incorrectly
Yeah.
then.
And then it's gonna be $69 a year.
Well, then you're being billed. I mean, and then that's another issue that we're having on another. We have another company going into WASA, because since it's billed through the Miami-Dade Water and Sewer Department, that's the other issue that we're trying to face too, of incorrect billing. Typically it doesn't happen for residential because it's kind of straightforward. It typically happens with commercial
So
properties.
residential is gonna be add up, so it means I'm paying $69, so I have to add up $18 more.
You're paying incorrectly. You should be paying $4 a month, which is $12 a quarter.
Correct.
Every time you get a water bill, you should be paying $12 right now. If you're paying $5, you've been paying incorrectly right now.
Okay, I have to see that because that's what it's showing.
That's another thing that Eric and I have been discussing for a while, that the huge possibility that we've been collecting improper monies from the stormwater.
Mhm.
And there was a company that approached the engineering department that they will audit it and find out if there's any monies owed. And then they charge a percentage of those
Right.
monies to recover the past due monies.
So
Okay,
just
we
answer
have a
your
motion? Sir?
The rate is then $5.
$5.50.
That's a flat fee?
It's $5.50 per month. So you would be
Per
paying
month.
right. So your total yearly fee for stormwater utility would be $66.
Which I'm paying $9.69. That's what it's showing. Okay. So it's gonna be how much?
$5.50 per month.
$5.50 per month. Well, but that's, the bill comes, every 3 months.
Right. So multiply 550
By
times
five-
3.
by
Right.
3. 1650.
Times 4.
I hope that with that extra money, we're gonna be able to put a roof over the 12 generators that are corroding in the city lot over there.
Can't use the money for that.
I understand to replace one of them costs about $15,000.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I move.
Okay, I second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then the other one is M, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, implementing performance measures to achieve eligibility for community rating system and an effective date. Mayor?
This one, again, is Eric's.
Right. Once again, this is regarding the community
7.
rating system. So if we accept being part of that system, it gives us the opportunity to reduce our rates, our insurance rates. Once we at least decide that we're going to be part of the community rating system. So this is just the first step by you guys as commissioners allowing us to do that.
The 7
Commissioner.
requirements.
Yeah, the 7 requirements, correct.
Commissioner Diaz?
Eric.
Yes, sir.
Didn't we do something like this in the past, even before?
We were trying to get into the CRS, but there was an audit done, and they said you needed, like, which was during the audit, they gave us 7 things we had to do, and one of them was, for example,
How we are classified right now?
0. We have no classification.
We have no classification whatsoever?
No.
But I remember when we finished one of the phases that some of the residents around that area were supposed to change.
You're misunderstanding you're confusing with
Floodplain.
the floodplain and the storm,
floodplain.
right, so basically, yes, once we implemented our stormwater, let's say, we had the design, it was constructed and it was built, then we basically said, listen, we're out of the floodplain for that specific area, and you can reduce your flood insurance. But this is
This
not.
is citywide?
Yeah, this is citywide.
All right.
Okay, I got a motion. Moved by Commissioner Diaz. Second by Commissioner Suarez. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we got. Okay, I'm gonna go to item L. Get the gentleman out of here. Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, approving a stipulation for dismissal to resolve the matter of Saul Diaz versus City of Sweetwater et al. What is it? I don't know how it's said. ET case number 2016-CA-01 in the 11th Judicial Court of Florida. City Attorney.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Yes, as the commission may recall, some time ago, we had a discussion, an executive session relative to this matter. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that executive session, but what you have before you basically is a resolution to that matter. Because this commission went ahead and approved having a referendum, it mooted out the main controversy in the litigation that was instituted by Mr. Diaz. Subsequent to that, I had some discussion with Mr. Carvalho, the attorney of record for Mr. Diaz, and basically we looked at his attorney's fees at that time. I want to go ahead and inform the commission that it is my recommendation to go ahead and approve this stipulation for settlement. Not doing so means that the litigation will move forward. Should the litigation move forward, regardless of the outcome, the city is going to be looking at attorney's fees. Whether it is for Mr. Diaz, if he prevails, or if the city prevails, basically my bill for litigation. I'm not submitting anything for this matter. I think that at this point, we can settle the matter and eliminate the possibility of additional cost. Ultimately, the other issue of potential controversy is not being addressed, which is whether or not this commission has the ability to make a determination as to whether a property serves a public purpose or not. I mean, we have varying opinions on the matter, and frankly, it serves no purpose to this commission or the city to go ahead and litigate on that issue. For that reason, I recommend basically this settlement stipulation. I think it's fair, and it eliminates the possible outcome of additional litigation costs to the city.
Through the chair.
Sir.
Mr. Quadra, how much we have to pay to that law firm?
I believe it's in excess of $18,000. Should the litigation continue, you got to realize that this is basically covers the initial stages. If we go through discovery, and again, it could have a much higher cost. Not only that, but even if the city prevails, there is a cost associated with that. That's what I bring to your attention, and what I urge is that you basically approve the stipulation of settlement, because that caps the matter out where it is right now. If the litigation goes on, regardless of the outcome, it will result in additional cost to the city, far greater than the amount of the stipulation.
Which is 18,000? $876.50.
That is correct,
To be
Commissioner.
exact.
Yes.
Now,
Now,
we have to pay to Carballo Law Trust account representing the plaintiff.
correct. And another couple of things in the stipulation that I want to point out to you is that it has been agreed that the payment by the city can be made subsequent to the sale, the potential sale of the property. Should it go forward? If it does not, payment of that, it's placed on the next budget year. So there is no immediate impact in the current budget year relative to this stipulation of settlement. So that was an accommodation that I think was very fair to the city, and frankly, eliminates additional issues with the current budget. I mean, it's still a liability, but again, there is the potential for that liability to be far greater regardless of the outcome of litigation.
Move.
Through the chair.
Sir?
Just a question, and I think that I spoke to you about this issue in the past. It was never a referendum to authorize the commission to purchase that piece of land. Why do we need one now to be able to sell it?
The issue, Commissioner, is to purchase land, a referendum is not needed. It's not needed. That's basically the answer to your question.
So only if we sell it?
Yes.
Sometimes.
And now we're getting too much into the specifics of the
right.
litigation, but I'm telling you, we have different opinions as to whether this commission can make a determination as to whether a piece of property is for public purpose, or if the commission can remove that determination. That is the essence of the remaining controversy, if you will.
Just an opinion, I believe that this referendum is being a malicious maneuver just to delay the sale of the property.
Agree.
And we'll have to thank Mr. Diaz,
Yes, yeah, thank you, sir.
Saul Diaz, for that move.
Yeah, thank you anyway.
You don't have
We
the floor,
appreciate it.
you know.
Yeah, por favor, yeah. Let's leave it alone. Okay.
I say move.
I got a motion by Commissioner Maroño. I second the motion. And this is a resolution, right? Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, so wait, I'm back. I did, B's gone. We got item C. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, determining that the city hereby accept police horse named Dashing Maverick, Nunk Pro Tunk. Is that how you say it? To March 30, 2013, and provide an effective date. Mayor?
You want I'll
Let me save everybody a lot of trouble here. I move.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Yaño. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. I'm not trying to cut you off. It's
No,
just
no. It's,
everybody's on the same page
it's
here.
a long story. A year.
Okay, same thing. Item D, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, determining that certain property is surplus, waiving the requirements of Section 2-271C, authorizing the mayor to dispose of this property, and providing an effective date. Maverick. Mayor Lopez. Moved by Commissioner Diaz, second by myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
Alright,
Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
I know you try hard to get that bill of sale.
Let me tell you, can I say just one thing? Getting this bill of sale has been the hardest thing in a year. And if you look, the bill of sale, they put my name on it. So that's how far we had to go on this.
You didn't even get to write them?
No, no.
Try.
See what happens.
Okay, item E is gone. Item F, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, determining that certain property is surplus, waiving the requirements of Section 2-271C, authorizing mayor to dispose of this property, and providing an effective date. Mayor.
Move. Second.
A motion by Commissioner Barreto, second by Commissioner Yaño. All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, authorizing the purchase of a bulletproof, oh, we took that, no, that was not, a bulletproof vest, authorizing the expenditure of funds, and providing an effective date. Mayor?
Through the chair.
Sir?
Please, I want to ask this.
Yes, sir.
And we have Lieutenant Villanueva here. Good evening, sir. how many times we're gonna buy vests? I think that we appropriated a lot of money in the past to buy vests. We have probably reduced the police force in 25% probably or more, and we don't have vests in the police department.
What's
Where are
happening, Commissioner, with all due respect, a lot of the vests expire. And you're taking.
Oh, they have expiration date?
Absolutely, they have expiration dates.
Yeah.
So you've gone through a lot of these vests and they're expired. So you have officers out there with vests that, you know, technically should not be wearing. So
That answered my question. Is they
Excuse me,
expired?
didn't we just get a grant though for that? I remember.
We got a $3,000 grant, which
Oh, that one doesn't cover
that
it.
doesn't even
That covers
start to make
a
a
handful
dent.
of, and these monies are coming from state forfeiture, which are very limited, that they can only be purchased, police equipment.
That's
Okay,
correct.
I move.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Duaso. You have a question, ma'am?
No, 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 no.
How many vests do we
She
go
was,
to
she
buy?
wants to
We're gonna
ask
fit every officer with a vest, a brand new vest. We're looking to buy the new lighter weight ballistic vests. Actually, we've already got the covers for them. We just need the inserts. It's gonna roughly cover about the 46 current, the projected additional 9 plus the additional that we're gonna have on shelf for reserves as they come in.
Perfect.
So we're gonna fit everybody with vests.
Through the chair, how much is each of those vests? More or less, give and take.
About $600-700 a piece.
They're expensive.
They're expensive. They're expensive, but you know what we're going through these days. I mean, it's very, very important to get our
It's
officers.
necessary.
Are you gonna auction the old ones? I would love to buy one.
You can't. The liability is too
You
great.
can't.
Protection for
Through,
police.
through the chair.
Actually, you know what? That's what they use them for. They use them for practice.
Through the chair.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
To answer Commissioner Diaz's a question and concern a little while ago, the bulletproof vests have a life shelf of 3 years. After 3 years, they're not warranted by the manufacturer. So it really is a liability to have a police officer on with the vest after that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. H is out, I is done. J, authorization regarding foreclosure action, city attorney. Don't cost us any more money, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We are in war.
Basically, I want to read into the record 5 properties that the city basically has liened, and the administration forwarded them to me to initiate foreclosure proceedings. I just want to make sure that as I read them into the record, subsequent to that, I will, if the commission so desires, through a motion and a second and hopefully a positive vote, you basically will give me the authority to go ahead and initiate foreclosure proceedings on these files. And the locations are as follows. Property address 11470 Southwest First Street. 331 Southwest 105th Place. 111 Southwest 103rd Avenue, number 105. 10745 Southwest 3rd Street. There's an apartment number. Let me give you that specific information for that one. Apparently that's the address. 10974 Southwest 5th Street, and finally 10 Southwest 116th Court. There are liens. The city has liened these properties, and the time has come that where the city may move forward with foreclosure proceedings if so directed by this commission.
What was the last address?
It's money for the city.
Northwest or South?
Southwest, 10 Southwest 116th Court.
Yeah, money for the city.
10 Southwest. That's on the other side of the street.
No, it's also.
No, 10 is
10,
Flagler.
10. In other words,
10 is
block
Flagler.
0.
Oh, between Flagler. Okay. Wow.
116th Court, right?
Okay.
In my opinion, yes.
Move.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're getting there. Item K, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Sweetwater, Florida, directing the mayor to allow repayment of monies owed to the city pursuant to lease agreement with Rubido's Cafeteria Incorporated over a period of 12 months. Commissioner Yanez.
Yes, last meeting, we went over this. We just learned that Rubido's Cafeteria owed over $13,000. He just find out now. This is something that he owes, according to the finance department, 7 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. That's what he said to us. And we think that it's more than fair that we give him the chance to pay this monies owed in monthly payments for a total of 12 months, which is a year.
Move.
Moved by Duazo,
Move.
Yaño, Barreto, Diaz,
Everybody.
and I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
A comer pan con bistec.
Bastante caro sale allí, ¿sabes? No.
No, que
Rabo
son
encendido es
buenísimos.
bueno.
Rabo encendido, I'm gonna have to go there.
No.
Okay.
And
No,
No, M was
Yeah.
moved off.
That was alright.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, this.
Start whipping out more papers here.
Oh,
Give me a second to organize myself here.
and, you know.
Okay, item O. which is mine.
What about item N?
That's what it said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I Nancy.
No, M we already did with.
No, and Nancy.
Nancy, and.
Oh,
You're skipping that one.
ratification of department heads, code requirement.
The only department at this time that the director has not been ratified is building. And I believe that I had asked Ralph Ventura last time
Right.
that he presented the name, which is Oscar Guerrero, and to not take any action on this and defer it until the ITB is closed, where we can make a sound financial decision. That's what we're going to do in the building department.
Right, but technically there's no name. And we
Oscar
call-
Guerrero is the building official. What I'm asking is that the commission, not take any action on this for a couple of months until the ITB is closed. And I don't really remember that process. When that is, I would have to ask Robert and
Good, Chair.
Sir?
So, Mayor Lopez, you're proposing Guerrero for,
Oscar Guerrero for building official.
and that's the position that he's been holding?
No.
Correct.
No. We're talking about director. Ralph explained, there's a director, which you have Manny in there. Fernandez last name, I'm sorry.
No, you have
That's what
the
Ralph
building
explained.
director.
The building director is
Correct,
Manny
which
for
is
right
the-
now, but he didn't submit the name. And
No,
that you're
Manny
waiting-
Salazar is running
Sal-
the business office. He's running the department.
That's not what Ralph said. He said that he was the acting building director, and that you weren't giving a name because you were coming forth.
No,
you-
the acting building director is Oscar Guerrero, which he's the person that has to be registered with Miami-Dade County with BORA, building,
No, he's a building official.
building official, sorry, correct. In this city, the way the charter says, the building official is the building director. Then the office manager who's running the building department right now is Manny Salazar, because he's the mechanical inspector and he's on salary.
But the long story short, I'm not trying to argue with you. Just want to get over this.
Right.
You don't have a name for building director right now.
It's Oscar Guerrero. Oscar Guerrero
He's
is
the building official.
correct. The charter says that the building official is the same person that's a building director.
So you're giving his name as building director.
Correct, as last time that Ralph presented it.
No, that's not what you said.
What I asked Ralph to do was to push this forward a couple of months, because we're in the process of putting an ITB. If the commission were to, let's say, not vote and not ratify Oscar Guerrero, then we're not in compliance again with the county. We'd have to put somebody again in temporary position. This is obviously, this is not a parks director, this is not a police officer, police chief. This is something that we have to have, otherwise the building department is closed. So,
Okay, my suggestion, we don't have another meeting for 2 weeks, right? Something like that?
I don't know. I would have to check the calendar.
Do we have anything?
To the chair.
Sure.
President Bergignan, I have had the opportunity to meet Mr. Guerrero. I spoke to him and he spoke to me about his credentials and experience. I know that you don't know all that. So my perception is that he's, are you putting an
ITB,
ITV for building
correct,
to outsource the entire department.
correct, to privatize it
So this will be until
until conclusion of that.
fiscal year. You put it for.
I believe that the way that we schedule it is for the selection of the company to be right about September, so that whatever changes we make will start as of October 1st, the new fiscal year.
Sir, my suggestion, because I think where you're heading, and I don't like where it's heading. I don't think you have the votes, and what's gonna happen is if we vote no, then the gentleman leaves, and we got a building, another building issue.
I
So I
just.
suggest that we leave it, we table it, we
We have
allow
no
him to the
information.
next meeting.
You're on the same boat if you do
So that
that.
everybody can meet him, know what's going on.
You're on the same boat if you do that.
Because I have an issue with the process that's taken on to hire him as a city official. I mean, as a building official, myself, and I'm
Right.
looking into that, but I don't wanna, make more of a mess of something that could be easily solved in a couple of
Okay,
weeks.
you can leave it for the next meeting,
So-
whatever you like.
That we all are more informed, even myself.
Yeah, through the chair, myself too. I would like to have a resume. I would like the gentleman to be here,
His
like
credentials.
everybody else. And if I like the resume and he answered questions reasonably, I will be glad to ratify him. But I have to be informed.
Correct. Well, remember, what I'm asking for the commissioner to do is either defer it or give a temporary ratification until the closure of the ITB process, which is in September. So we're looking at basically less than 2 months.
Right, but 2 months is huge in the building industry. Myself, I'm doing something right now, and
We're gonna lose a lot of
so
time.
I don't want to not ratify them, but there's issues that are. He's an employee, but he works for another company. But we've signed a contract, and the contract never got to the commission. There's a lot of issues that are important, but I don't want to stop the building process that's going on in Sweetwater right now, because there's a lot of people hurting right now, waiting to do projects and do things. So I think if we leave it, I don't want to give you a blanket 2-month thing. Next meeting, we all work on it together. We meet, we talk about it.
Whatever you like, Commissioner.
So I think it's better than just voting no, because nobody got
I have a question.
information. Yes, ma'am.
You said you believe we don't have vote. How do you know that?
That's my opinion, because the issues that I just brought up right now, people, Mr.
they
Suarez
share?
has asked for a resume for the last year for everybody.
No, it's I want
And
to
the
know
only
why.
one that he gave the green light to without anything was Alan Abolilla,
Okay.
and we know where that went. So I think we're trying to be prudent, but we don't want to hurt the city, the residents, or the developers, or building people, or anything like that. So
Through the chair,
as long as he keeps working, and we've got 2 more weeks to find out who he is and get a resume.
that was precisely what I was stating. I met the gentleman, and he spoke about his credentials and all that. Not that I knew that Mayor Lopez was going to bring him as director, but according to the other, the guy is leading the department practically. So it'll be a plus, Mayor, that you bring, submit his credentials and his resume, so that we all
Mr. Attorney?
properly inform about the gentleman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to highlight to the commission that I understand that you're pushing the decision forward, and that's fine. That's within your purview, but that there is in fact no such thing as a temporary ratification. If you ratify any director, any department, basically that is the department head.
No, I'm not saying to ratify. I'm saying to.
No, I
defer.
understand. I just want to clarify that there is no temporary ratification. In other words, there's no 2-month ratification. If this commission ratifies the department head, then that is in fact the department head, if this commission wishes to do that.
Right, we don't know that.
It is totally within the commission's purview to go ahead and perhaps make the further decision to sometime until after the ITB that administration puts out yields a result. And at that point, the commission can make whatever decision it desires.
Right, okay, so I make a motion to defer, allow the mayor to defer to the next meeting.
Second.
And second by Commissioner Yaño and Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Does that work legally?
that works.
Okay, thank you. Wow. Okay, now we're gonna vote. A resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of Sweetwater, Florida, authorizing the mayor to execute an amended and restated interlocal agreement with the Beacon Tradeport Community Development District for the design and construction of roadway improvement projects within the city of Sweetwater and providing an effective date. This is by me. Now, I don't have, believe it or not, I have one more amendment to what we received. This is a great project. This is something that's gonna be $4 million worth of roadway improvement that the city obviously is not gonna be able to do for about 10 years. That big dip that goes into the Dolphin Mall is gonna be taken care of. 110th Avenue, which gets flooded a couple times a year, and 17th Street, which has that dirt road. The only issue that I have with the agreement is on the first page.
Building fish?
Yes, that's no way. We'll never be able to move
What page
forward
is
on
that,
other issues.
Commissioner?
It's on page 1 of the agreement of the, maybe I have a different copy. Let me see if it's on here.
No, there is a page 1 on the agreement, yes?
Okay, and it's the third bullet down, number 2. So I like to remove that 1/2 of all building permit fees be removed. They're not gonna get that.
Through a chair.
Yes, sir.
Could I ask you to actually defer this for now, because I actually started negotiations or discussions about this with President Houston the Wednesday before I went on vacation, and this was supposed to have been brought back to me, and this was dropped off in my office today at 5 o'clock. So I have not had an opportunity to review this.
This is the basic same thing that happened with 17th. There's nothing different. He's fixing all that stuff at the same
I don't know,
thing.
but like you're saying that you've caught something, I have not had an opportunity to read this, so I'm asking,
Well, I
if
think
we're
it's
gonna have
gonna
a meeting in a week or two, can we defer this so that we've got an opportunity to read this?
I would really like to get this done. Everybody, like I'm telling you, developers are waiting. We got the guy with
I
the
understand
hotel on
as
the
well.
circle. You haven't signed that paper.
But are you going to act on something that, let's say it's dated on Friday, so I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to read this. I can honestly tell you that I didn't read this because it was dropped off in my office today at 5 o'clock.
It's the same thing as on 17th Street, except they're doing it on 110th Avenue and with a big dip. There's nothing to.
All I can tell you is that I'm asking you for you to defer to the next meeting. If you guys don't want to do it, you want to act on it now?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Again, it's the prerogative of the commission. The only thing that I wanna mention is that some of the amending language that you wanted to take care of right now, specifically with impact fees, the additional time may allow for the right language to come in, because that was the discussion that we heard that we had today, and as I was working on the language to deal with the impact fees, the additional time would allow me to fine tune that language to your specifications. So
How much time are we talking about? Because Mr. Houston, I know that you're getting ready to do this, and you're willing to do it, and it's a great investment for the city. What's the most time that you can give us till the mayor can review this?
Well, let me be clear. First of all, it's not me doing it.
Well, no, it's
Okay.
it's a
Yeah, I wanna-
district.
It's the Beacon Tradeport.
Community Development District. I'm an elected supervisor, just like your elected commissioners. I'm an elected supervisor. This is pretty timely. We really want to get this moving. I've been working on this for a year. One of the reasons it's timely is there's one development going up on 17th right now, which right now is not a road. The process of permitting and constructing these roadway improvements is going to take a lot of time. I will defer to the mayor. I've met with Ralph this week, and I was trying to meet with mayor today, and I wasn't able to. But I would say that we can't delay it too much longer. We're right there at a timeline where a lot of developers are getting ready to develop. This road work's going to take a while to do. There's particularly 110th. The reason for a lot of these problems, other than 17th, is back in 1970 there was a landfill underneath 110th. It was a 45-foot deep lake that was filled in improperly.
So if you go by 1/10 and if it rains hard, you'll see that the road is actually sinking. And the road gets closed down 2 or 3 times a year, right in front of property that's being developed. So it's it's a ASAP matter. Obviously, I understand the process here, and I'm going to work with the process, but I would say this is not something I want to delay for a month.
Can we do it for next Monday? How's that?
Next Monday's fine.
Yeah, we'll find out with the next scheduled meeting right now, because you're saying that there's one about 2 weeks from now, so
Well,
we
but
can.
I'm willing to come in if he's.
No, it's all mine. I really don't mind. What I'm saying is, just so we have some time, because, when we met a week and a half ago on Wednesday, right before, we were supposed to meet right after I got back from vacation. All of a sudden I see this here, I'm like, what happened? Somewhere along the way, the process failed. And, and dealing with you, Brett, is actually very favorable over your predecessor, Lewis, who just confused everything,
Correct.
or the
I
whole
understand
topic.
that.
So it was much easier to deal with you.
Okay, I'm willing to, as long as this is not going, another 6 months or 4 months
we're
or
Monday.
3 months. This is a very timely. And by the way, let me just mention that, the district is a community development district. We are funding all these improvements, which are going to be over $4 million. And we will be paid back not from anything from the city. We'll be paid back from developer impact fees, and another fee that was adopted by you in the last meeting, an ordinance that allows for recovery of improvements to adjacent properties. So nothing comes out of the general fund. This is $4 million of road work that we pay for and we oversee, we construct, and get paid back as development takes place.
Right, it's a no-brainer.
So we're taking a risk that development doesn't take risk. And if that is the case, our property owners and our CDD will end up paying those bonds. Secondly, this is a project that's outside our district boundaries, so it's not on our district boundaries. It would be like Sweetwater doing a road project for Corral, in effect. So, it's an important project to the district, to the developers in the area. There's 3 or 4 projects going on these roadways I know of. I'm actually doing 2 of them, so I will aware of them, but there's some other projects going on. I have one picture that I shared with a couple of you all, and I'd like to share it with some of you guys right now, but this is actually 110th Avenue on December 4th. That roadway is underwater.
Yes, I have those.
That roadway is underwater in front of properties that are selling for over $1.5 million an acre. So I would urge you guys to take this. Obviously, you're taking it very seriously, but I would wait for the meeting that comes up next to do it. As long as everyone who has a question can talk to me before. I've met with most of you commissioners already, and the mayor, and Ralph, and I'm willing to meet with anybody at any time.
I think it's a no-brainer. I don't know.
Yeah, Commissioner, if you'd like the recommendation that you want, if you want, I'll call you tomorrow so you can let me know. So then, once we read this, then I can discuss it with Quadra. So, because the changes to the agreement actually won't be with you, it can be with the Beacon Trades attorney, correct?
Yeah, it'll go through him. Obviously, the business points, you're better off with me.
Right.
I can
okay.
negotiate. I'm one of 5 supervisors on the commission, on our
Okay.
commission. All have to vote, positive. After you guys, if you approve this, the commission approves it, we've got to approve it also.
Correct.
Okay, so.
And so let's get this hashed out over the next 2 or 3 days, and then we can schedule a meeting for sometime next week.
Okay, I'd like to schedule a meeting.
Let's wait till we schedule it. Let's wait till we hash
Monday?
it out for the next 2 or 3 days.
Monday. I don't want to.
I will have to have all the information ready by tomorrow because the agenda will have to
Right.
go out tomorrow.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
Monday's
If we
meeting.
hash this out over the next 2 or 3 days, we can schedule it for Wednesday or
Tomorrow, I
Thursday or
have to
Thursday of
have
next
an
week.
agenda out for Monday and all the information in my
Okay,
office.
okay. So just.
So-
okay,
Yeah, if it
get
takes
back
2 or
to
3
this
days, then
again.
we're back. We're
Okay.
going to be Wednesday, Thursday next week.
Alrighty.
Okay.
No, Monday, please, Cristiano. Who's asking?
On the 10th, I'm leaving to New York for the family emergency. I'm gonna be
Okay.
out from the 10th, and I'll be back on the 20, which is 20 or 21st, which is a Saturday or
The
Sunday.
10th is Friday, right?
No, the 10th is on Wednesday. August
Okay, so-
10th is Wednesday.
So maybe we
So
can
we can have a meeting on Monday,
tentatively try it
Tuesday.
for Tuesday then?
Tuesday,
If we
fine.
can, if the mayor.
The meeting can always have function with minus 1 commissioner.
What's that? I'm sorry?
We don't need all 7
Well,
commissioners
she'd
to have a
like to be
meeting.
here.
Yeah, but I'd like to be here. I have missed not even one.
So when are you defined?
On the 10th.
We can do it the 9th or the 10th?
The 9th.
No, the 9th.
The 9th.
Uh,
Tuesday.
Okay.
Means that everything would have to be out by,
Oh, wait.
by this coming
then
Wednesday.
Let me just caution that all the information needs to be
Out by
provided
Wednesday.
in the
Okay,
clerk's
let him get
office.
back to us and we'll work it out and we'll request a meeting if we have to.
If you want me to
As
delay-
fast as possible, we're gonna do.
If you want me to
And
delay
you're,
to the
you're
11th,
out from the 10 to what? I'm sorry?
to the 21st, but if you want me to leave on the 11th, I don't
No,
know.
no, let's see what we can do. 10 to the 21st.
Yes.
I think also the information is all contained within this agreement, right? Is there any additional information?
No,
that-
it's simple. This is a no-brainer.
This is, the whole mechanism's pretty simple. It's-
No, it's basically whatever is being amended, whatever's being corrected has to be, that the actual item needs to be by the clerk, and, at least 4 business days prior to, 4 days prior to the meeting.
Okay.
So there's a timing issue.
Okay. But also during the meeting, things can be amended to the agreement also?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. so
Okay.
thank you.
We'll take care of
very
this over the next 2 or 3 days, Brett.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go.
You need to vote to table, to defer it.
Okay, I make a motion to defer the meeting until.
Second.
The next scheduled meeting, which
The
will.
next special meeting.
The next special meeting. All in favor? Oh, I got a second by
Aye.
Commissioner Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I am up to P. Llegamos, boss. A resolution of the mayor and the commission of the city of Sweetwater declaring a 2002 GMC Yukon to be surplus, providing for its transfer to Marie Schmidt, waiving the requirements of section 2-271C, and removal from the city of inventory of fixed assets, providing for transmittal. Commissioner Dawson.
May I?
Move.
Yes, sir.
This resolution necessary explain. You know why? In my opinion, maybe another 3 years this city is good. Any commissioner present packages for bar is 39 years in this city. And this moment is impossible, no money. Estoy diciendo que quizás en 3 años la ciudad está bien y algún comisionado puede presentar un package para bar. En estos momentos no se le hace porque realmente no hay dinero. Estoy moviendo una resolución para que el carro que tiene ella, que no tiene ninguno, la ciudad se lo ceda y el alcalde ha accedido a eso.
Okay,
I say
I
move.
got a commission, a motion
Second.
by Duaso and Maroño. Duaso's is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner Duaso.
Unanimously.
Unanimous. Okay. Wow. Might get through this. More paper. Okay, here we go. Reports. Police and code enforcement, we got one already.
Police report.
Parks and recreation,
No police.
we got one.
That's something.
No, okay, that's right, thank you.
Chief police.
No,
Chief.
you got the report in case you have any questions, that's all.
No, anybody got
I
questions?
got
on
them for
this?
you in front.
Oh, we're good, thank you. Make it easy today for you.
Chief,
Okay.
ustedes se lo pasan todo aquí.
Thank you, this is great.
Okay, Means Department report, I think we got one in writing. City Attorney?
I will have a written report for the next meeting on several matters.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners report, the only thing I wanna, is, oh my God, I'm sorry, Mayor's report.
No worries. Same as the city attorney saying, and we're gonna start providing written reports.
Okay, perfect. Commissioners report, the other thing I wanted to include is that tomorrow, we have the safety program, at the park for the children. They're gonna be tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon for, all the children that are in the, summer camp program.
To the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I have the same question from the last month for the Mr. Quadra about litigation between city and Lucy Castro against Mr. Diaz. Do you have any information about that?
Yes, I have a pending phone call with Mr. Quick. We missed each other. He has to brief me on the latest development. As I mentioned to you before, the matter appears to be sent back to the commission because the appeal was in fact successful. I will.
The what appeal?
The appeal was successful.
So have lost case, we're going to the appeal?
No. The appellant
Uh-huh.
was successful, okay? So now there's a pending conversation with outside counsel that I will have by tomorrow. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do subsequent to that conversation, I will go ahead and provide a memo to the entire commission and the administration, so we can proceed on that matter.
Okay, thank you.
I have something to the share.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I want to mention that last Thursday, we had a pillowcase project with all the kids at the Mascanosa Center. The Red Cross was, they came over and they did a great job with those kids, and it was a great program, and I'm thanking the Red Cross for taking the time of being here and spend some time with them. It was really something amazing. They learned in case of emergency what they need to do. Not everybody got a pillowcase where they know what they need to stuff in case of emergency.
Oh, and the last thing, well, at least for me, I think it's the 19th is the last day of summer camp. I don't know if it's 18th or 19th.
Yeah,
We're gonna try to do a barbecue again like we did before for the last day of summer camp around noon. The parents are welcome, I guess, to come, and the kids are already there.
Why?
Creo que el último día, I think it's 18 or 19 de August. El último,
At 12 o'clock we do that, right?
yeah.
may I?
Yes, sir.
Here is Barbara, and no say nothing. For many, many years, my secretary now in a nice position in the county. Barbara
Welcome.
Galvez.
Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbarita. You help to me every time. Thank you.
To the chair.
Yes, sir.
Can you inform the clerk so that she sent us the specific day for that barbecue? So we might be able to
Okay,
participate.
if you can't, Carmen, I'll. Because I asked him, but I'm getting old. I think it's the 19th.
19.
Is the last
I'll
day?
let you all know
at noon.
tomorrow.
I think Lieutenant Villanueva is going to be sporting some
I'll be there.
shorts for the
I'll
water
be there.
slide.
My kid's not summer camp, so I'll be, if you're bringing churrasco, I'll be there.
Excuse me, I would like to finish.
I'm
my-
sorry, I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask the mayor or Ralph if he said he denied that someone is calling from the city to ask whether to support the referendum for the land. Someone is calling because they called my wife in front, and I was present, and someone called my wife and asked her support to approve the sale of the land.
Yes, I think that not the city's not doing it. I think it's.
So who's doing it?
It might be through
Through the chair,
the people that are going to buy it.
Brett is not here, but I spoke with him last meeting.
He's doing some.
He's paying for that.
He's
Okay.
paying.
Yes,
It's
I asked him the
a-
question that
it's
they
a-
say is they.
A bank phone, they called my home too.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
Okay, item G, elderly services, special projects, building and zoning, finance,
Go.
city clerk's report.
I have something to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Val sent me a message telling you all thank you for the donation of her car, specifically Commissioner Duaso.
And maybe I
Thank
say
you all dearly.
maybe, I mean, may I, Mr.
Yes, sir.
President?
Yes, sir.
I say maybe Secretary Carmeta. I say maybe another 2 years. The city is different. Have money. Maybe any commissioner present packages por Val. For working 39 years.
She's
in
watching
my
the meeting.
city. You know, I
She
don't know
told
in
me.
3 years more.
So she's listening.
Alrighty. Where are we at? City clerk, human sources report, unfinished business, new business. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to ask if you have any idea when we're gonna be able to have the first workshop. The commission?
I have my personal opinion. After the election, after the August 30, that we know we have sell or not to sell the piece of
Yeah,
land.
that's right. Okay,
Bueno,
Before.
but that is only going to be like 1.5 million of the whole.
Yeah, but anyway, That's,
We need to
that's
work.
the money that we have to balance the budget.
May I
To
meet
me,
the
that's my
president?
personal
Let's see
opinion.
what we can, at least for my part, let's see where
May I-
we're at. Now that we have 5, he's gonna be working on that.
May I?
Yes, sir.
In another maybe 1.5 days, is coming to the city. How many absentees coming? Plenty absentee. And the people in the city, I don't know nothing. Nothing. En una semana y media vienen las boletas ausentes a la ciudad. Y aquí la ciudad no sabe nada. Yo estoy en la calle constantemente. ¿Qué se está haciendo? No, llamando por teléfono. Eso no es nada. Esa es mi opinión.
Acuérdate que no podemos estar jugando con las boletas.
No, señora, yo estoy hablando lo que dice la ley.
Calladito.
Señorita, yo estoy hablando lo que dice la ley, nadie la puede tocar.
Calladito nos vemos más bonitos.
Usted y yo por muchos años estuvimos en eso, señora.
Sí, yo sé.
Y sabemos lo que es la ley.
Pero ahora no se puede.
Le estoy diciendo que sabemos lo que es la ley.
Sí.
Y nos reunieron 16 policías, el señor Carlos Álvarez aquí, y nos tomó a usted y a mí preso. No preso, pero... Y no teníamos nada. Yo sé lo que es la ley, pero le estoy diciendo con mucho respeto que en una semana y media vienen cientos de miles de boletas ausentes y nadie sabe nada. No, que estamos llamando por teléfono. ¿Qué es eso? Eso no es nada. Perdón.
Okay.
Yo soy muy sincero para decir mis cosas.
Okay, new business, good of the order.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Just one comment, Mr. President.
Yes,
Even though August the 30th is gonna be the day of the referendum, I think that we should issue a town meeting in the Mascanosa or right here, where residents can come over and share give their input about.
Or we can explain to them what we're trying to do.
May I meet the president?
Let's see.
Exactly.
May I meet the
We can work on
president?
that. Yes, sir.
It's necessary. This one. Commissioner Diaz. This is necessary.
Oh, okay.
It's necessary. I don't know why. When?
What is that?
Send it a mail, right?
Here's one to say that.
I,
Se manda un mail.
Okay.
no mande.
Item 16, adjournment. Moved by Commissioner
Second.
Barreto, second by Yañez and Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
I wasted down my house.